and welcome back to Tales from Cazilor, the Golden Era, Episode 5. Sorry we took a week off. One of our cast members got sick, and we didn't want to do 2 weeks in a row without the full cast, but we're back, baby. Back like we never left. And in the grand scheme of things, when you're inevitably rewatching this whole series 20 times, you won't even notice. Now, we're really going to need this recap because it's been 2 to 3 weeks since all of us have played. Last episode, episode 4, our players were in Loneshire investigating a string of disappearances, only to find out that blessed and gifted people were being kidnapped by fairies and delivered to Atrarians via a portal that opened up in the Wildwood Forest in the form of a mystical whirlpool. The headliner squad had just finished dispatching an Atrarian officer, but one hostage had slipped away in a fairy's grasp, a child named Orson Xander. As Jeremiah and Highblade Vera dove into the whirlpool after him, the others stayed behind to interrogate a captured fairy. The fairy told us that these kidnappings of blessed people were all part of a grand plan. A plan which was laid out by none other than Faertala the Grimshar. That is spelled Faertala. And the Grimshar is an Atrarian rank. It's like a general. An infamous mastermind in war and high-ranking Atrarian officer whose name is known well by the Masmus. And that whatever she is planning for requires the souls of blessed and gifted individuals. Jeremiah and Vera found an Atrarian camp through the portal, as well as more hostages. And not only did they save these hostages, but in a completely reckless move and a copious amount of explosives, they managed to kill 3 more Atrarians and destroy the portal. Unfortunately, this cost Jeremiah's right leg to be completely blown off below the knee. But also gained him a lot of respect from Highblade Vera and a new prosthetic from Captain Baina. After the battle at Loneshire, Su Young was able to publish his first story about the headliners in the Daily Scrits, which, after an incredible group charisma check, effectively made the headliners renowned national heroes. On the ride back home to report to the Warlord Assembly, the headliner squad was getting stopped in every city by adults and kids alike. Everyone in the headliner squad has fans now. Nerdy kids started taking enchanting classes thanks to Baina. Little girls around the wild are putting flowers in their hair to look like Winnie. And the crowd favorite being, of course, Alexi Delac, the guy who isn't special at all, but still killed a giant on his first mission. The headliners truly became a beacon of hope for humanity and rightfully earned their name. Despite that, a lot of the squad left Loneshire not exactly sure how to feel. Lots of trauma being processed at the tail end of that episode. At the end of the episode, the headliners were told that peacetime is officially over. Atraria has declared it. And their next mission was deep in Estersal, protecting Viscount Nunez, an Ester politician who is believed to be a target for assassination thanks to the intel from Forget-Me-Not. But first, before they begin this mission, they get 1 month off. Starting with Argy. What are you doing with your month off?
I think RG, and by extension Ari, take just a slightly lighter schedule, still consisting of training. So RG is spending a lot of his time writing, thinking, or training. It's just that more, which is usual, just more of that pie gets put to the writing and the thinking, which isn't necessarily good for him, considering the mental state he's in and all the crises of faith he's going through. Mm-hmm. So if you want a single activity he's doing, he's going through it over the month break.
And I have to ask, are you going home?
you can't not go home on the break.
Of course.
In fact, it would very much be frowned upon if I did not go home for the break.
Indeed. You go home for the break. Your family is so happy to see you. You and Ari both it's great for you guys to be home. I mean, they last saw you, really, last time you were living at home was like 2 years ago. And then you got a quick visit after you graduated, and that was it. And so it's a nice homecoming, as nice as it can be for the Scritoris. You get to see your younger brother, who I think, if I'm doing my math right, is an adult now. I think he's 18.
Wow.
And you get to see Cooper, and all this stuff. Gramps, unfortunately, has a lot of tasks prepared for you.
He's still alive?
Oh yeah, he's still kicking.
He'll die when there's no more news to print.
He is still kicking. Gramps has a lot of tasks prepared for you, for sure. He has paid for a professional artist to draw you to, like, on a poster, and got it mass printed and shipped out to a bunch of major cities. He's set up a ton of interviews and meet and greets for you guys to go through. I mean, he's having you interview the most random bullshit ever. Like every newspaper. I think you did an interview for like a fashion magazine, which doesn't even make sense, but you did it because Grandpa told you to. And so you're getting up to a lot. You are being kept busy. But what exactly are you doing in your free time? Or is there a specific moment that you want to shine on?
I think at some point RG and Ari would be sparring, probably away from the rest of the family.
Yeah, like hand fighting, or like swords.
Let's say this is CQC. On the rare occasion that it might come up, we've been trained in some close quarters combat.
Got it. So we come out into like with the success of the Scritoris as like a brand. The Scritoris have fallen into some money, and we're able to get you guys sort of like a professional training space in Opulo, with like, you know, everything you could need for training for the Masmus, but it's mainly like sectioned off from the rest of the city, and it's grass and it's naturey, and we'll say it's like it's sunset, and you and Ari are like sparring, and Ari, like, you know, hits you in the body, and it's like, you gotta watch out for those, RG.
I think she lands a really good shot on his ribs, and RG just like completely disengages, really frustrated. Like, shit, fuck.
It's okay. I'm just a little bit faster than you, so it's no big deal.
Can we just take 5?
Yeah, sure. I'm getting pretty tired too. We've been going at this for a couple hours. And you both kind of plop down at the base of a tree during sort of golden hour at this training yard.
Do you think there's anything more than this for us?
What do you mean?
Well, when we're at work, we are fighting a war. When we're off, we're training to fight the war. And when we were growing up, we were training to enter the war and train for the war. And it's all just... You don't find it demoralizing at all? That we have nothing beyond this and conflict?
I mean, look, RJ, I know you've been like kind of stuck on this sort of all month. I I do look forward to resting at some point. But as far as up to now, I don't think it's demoralizing. I think I still what I told you after Loneshire, I still believe it. I think what we're doing is the right thing. And I don't know if I would have had the guts to do it without Grandpa pushing us so hard, but I'm glad that he did, because we're out here, we're helping people.
What would you do if there wasn't a war? If it just ended tomorrow?
Wow. Ended tomorrow. I mean, wouldn't that be nice? And
I'm serious. Do you have any passions outside of this? Do we have anything to look forward to outside of it?
She kind of stares off. At this time of day, the light's hitting the clouds just right where they're sort of golden and tinted pink. And it's beautiful. And the wind is breezing. You can smell the sap from the nature around you. And she goes, it's hard to say. My whole life has revolved around becoming a knight. Without the Masmus, I don't really know. I don't really know who I am. But I think I'd like to just relax. Tend to a garden or something. Work at the church, I don't know. Just be calm. What about you?
I'd like to write about people.
Yeah.
About their exploits. Give people stories to be hopeful about.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it is. It certainly sounds a fair bit easier than actually doing the fighting and being in the stories.
I think that'd be good for you. I think you'd be good at that. I don't know, do you think...
Then why am I not allowed to? Why do I have to be here?
We owe it to humanity to be here, RG. You have such a powerful gift, and so do I.
RG stands up.
Where you going?
I'm not gonna sit here and listen to another fucking rah, the earth is great and humanity is strong speech. That's not the answer I'm looking for. I just need something fucking honest. I'm going to find Grandpa.
RG
stomps off.
and you go find Grandpa. Is that where you wish to end this scene, or do you want to go talk to Grandpa?
I'd like to go talk to Grandpa if that's a little later or now, either or.
We can do it now. You go find Grandpa. He's nearby. He kind of takes you to these training yard things. He's probably just chilling. He sees you walking up and goes, "RG, you guys calling it a night? Where's Ari?"
Ari is diligently training as usual. I actually, could we chat?
Yeah, kid, sure.
That's not weird.
Yeah, no, we could. You could talk to me about anything. You know that.
Why'd you build all this?
What do you mean?
The whole empire, your news conglomerates, and all of these riches, where did it come from? Was it a place of passion and love for the medium? Was it something else? What did you want your life to be?
Well, it started way back. I wanted to tell stories. I wanted to tell real life stories. Before the Daily Scrits, you see, the news wasn't that big of a deal. People didn't really care about what was happening in the real world. They only cared about what was happening to themselves. I disagreed with that. I thought that there were many great stories that people would love to hear about the world around them that could not only inspire them, but also shed light on situations they might not otherwise know about. That's why we report the news, RG.
Okay. Different question. Say, hypothetically, this conflict broke out 20, 30, 50 years earlier. Would you be fighting?
Well, I tried. I didn't make the cut.
Well, this never came up.
Yeah, I was eligible in the Bronze Era, back when we didn't know shit about anything. And, I gave it a shot, but didn't make the cut. And so I decided to report on it instead.
And being in the front line for all that fighting, do you think you would have been up to it?
What's the reasoning behind these questions, RG? What's on your mind?
I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know. I'm not a fighter, Grandpa. I don't want this. I know that I can hang on and hang in there, but I don't think I'm going to survive it, even if I live. You know?
RG, there is no doubt in my mind that you're a fighter. You are more of a fighter than I ever was. You're so hard on yourself. Why? I know I was hard on you, raising you guys, but I was hard on you to make you strong. And you are strong. No Scritori is gonna die out on the battlefield like some schmuck.
I don't think I'm being hard on myself, Grandpa. I'm just being honest about what I like and what I don't like and how my life as it is makes me feel. And I just want to be a fucking writer, and you just had to dash all those dreams. Why? So I could be here unhappy as your pawn in a proxy war that you didn't even have the physical ability to fight yourself?
RG. Listen to me. And really listen to me, because I think I talk to you a lot and you don't actually listen. You are here because this is what you're meant to do. This is what I was meant to do and I couldn't. This is what you're meant to do. You are gifted. The wild chose you. And if you want to be a coward and run away, you can do that. But don't ever expect any help from me again.
All right. I'll persevere.
That's what I raised you to do.
Evidently.
Let's go. Go get your sister.
Yes, sir.
And we cut away from that scene. Turmoil at the Scritories.
What a start to the episode.
God damn.
2 weeks off, I was like, woo, let's play some D&D, and now I'm sad.
Yep, we're tapping right back in.
Good.
We're tapping right back in. You think that was crazy. We're switching over to Bana.
See, I knew what this sad was going to be. I wasn't expecting sad before my sad.
Captain Adrian Bana, what are you getting up to during your 1 month break?
There's definitely like a couple of days where he is trying to just sort of do what he does and push off the events of everything. He's jotting down notes on how he can improve Jeremiah's prosthetic later and, not sleeping very well as he does. None of that works, right? His coping mechanisms aren't doing so good. So eventually, a couple days into this break, he is going to do something that he definitely hasn't done since Masmus training began, and probably didn't do for a couple of years before that, which is, with some reluctance, go and visit Asher's grave.
Yes. So, talk of graves. The way people get buried in Cazilor is a little bit different because it's very magical and mystical in nature. And the wild, usually, there's like a whole funerary prayer that is said, and the wild like sort of fully accepts the energy and the bodies of these people into itself. Asher walked the path of soil in the church, and in the path of soil, they are dug a shallow grave, buried over it, placed in the fetal position inside, covered in dirt. The funerary prayer is spoken, and then on that mound of dirt, a tree will sprout. And so a lot of times, certain graveyards are actually just forests. But that's just for the path of soil. And so you walk up to the location where Asher was buried. It was probably buried somewhat close to the Platt family residence, for easy access to them. As you approach, you see the tree, a grand tree. It bears fruit, which is usually a sign of like their soul was powerful and strong. And you see that there are 14 stones laid around it in a circle, one for each member of Serpent Squad. It's like a sort of Masmus tradition where you place a stone at the resting place. There are 14 stones laid around this tree. What does this scene sort of look like to Baina?
To Baina, I think, to be honest, I think he doesn't even really see it. If this makes sense, as he's walking up to this place, like muscle memory kind of kicks in, even though he hasn't been here for a while. He knows exactly where he's going, and he is fully in his own head, like just kind of walking this path that he's walked before, but not seeing the forest for the trees as he approaches and kind of like kneels down in front of the tree.
And you do that. You feel the wild around you, the presence of the wild. The wind blows through the leaves of Asher's tree. And you begin to think about that fateful day. Deep up the Starfield Passage, basically in Atraria. It's night. It's dark. You've had a long day of fighting to get to here, but you won the battles. You've secured a once abandoned Cazilorian city. When suddenly, a surprise attack. You were caught completely off guard. 3 giants stormed your camp. All 13 members of Serpent Squad went from relaxing to flying into combat, quickly mounting their horses, gathering their bearings. Never a rest with a job like this. A signal arrow is fired, casting a red light on the battlefield. Boom! Crash! Giant weapons slam into the dirt. Horses are running routes around the giants. Anchors firing arrows. Stalwarts shouting callouts. Climbers attempting to scale the enemy, including Asher Platt, working his way up, the largest of the 3 giants. What happened next?
Yes, to properly set this scene, I need to explain the dynamic that Asher and Baina had. Baina, even in his younger days, still had the same sort of tendencies that he does now, but to a lesser extent. He was always a very measured person, a very strategic person, and this was balanced by Asher, who was very flashy, very reckless. I believe as Splat has described him before, He was a climber, he was a fast climber, and he was very, very, very good at what he did. So even with the surprise attack, Bana and Asher, despite being members of a larger squad, were very much on each other's wavelengths at all times, and so they snapped into action quickly. And for the first couple minutes of this, everything is going shockingly well. The whole squad, Bana included, is still kind of riding high from these victories, right? Now, notably, this is also before the invention of the anchoring arrow.
Yes.
So at this time, we still had anchoring arrows, but they were basically just specialized arrows and bows with ropes attached to them.
Yeah, this was probably about 10 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. So the way anchors worked was you'd take an anchor, or you'd fire it at a giant, and then when that stuck, it would get stuck deep in the armor or flesh of the giant, and then the anchors would just hold it themselves. You'd have a bunch of anchors on a team, and you would all just tie the giant down that way. So for the giant that Bana and Asher were on, there were 2-3 other anchors in addition to Bana holding this down. It was going fine. Everybody was in their positions. They were pulling the giant in various ways. And Asher, really without a care in the world, gets his magic attack off, hooks into the giant's leg, starts climbing up. Despite the very tense situation, no one's really talking or flashing any expressions, except Asher, typical kind of overconfident self. He flashes Bana a smile and a thumbs up as he sort of shoots over the giant's waist there. Bana kind of just gives him a head nod and keeps holding on to the very intense task. But you can kind of see there's a moment in their eyes where everything it's going well. This is something they've done a million times before.
Mm-hmm.
But then, as Asher gets around the giant's shoulder, a piece of the giant's armor cracks. And that was the piece that Asher was hooked on to. So his normally calm expression changes. His eyes go wide. And in that moment, he falls. And for Bana, time freezes, because this genuinely never something that he has seen before. He's seen Asher fall because Asher's reckless. He's never seen him fall from that high. And as Asher is tumbling down, it looks like he might get a handhold, he might not. But Bana decides he can do something about it. So he drops his anchor and he rushes over. The sounds of the battlefield drowned out easily by just his heartbeat in his ears as he rushes to catch the guy who's been his best friend for his entire life. And he does. He reaches out and catches Asher in his arms with surprising ease. Bana's a relatively tall guy. He's strong enough to hold down a giant. He catches Asher. Asher flashes him a thumbs up because, thanks. I was worried for a second. I saw you on the ground. Everything's good. Bana, gasping, puts him down. Everything is okay. And as they give each other a nod, they're right next to a giant. They start running, splitting up. And moments after Bana catches his friend, saves his life, he turns to watch as his best friend gets stomped by the foot of the giant he had just fallen off of, pounded into the dirt and killed in an instant. And as Bana looks back to the anchor that he had dropped, he and all the other members of the team realize that with the angle of the giant's movement, it was the weakness of the dropped anchor that allowed that giant to have the freedom of movement to finish off Asher in that second. Bana runs, and he finishes the fight, and I don't think he says a word for at least 48 hours. And then after that, he just tries his best to go back to normal as the rest of the Serpent Squad members are concerned, but everyone can tell something changed, and to this day, at this gravesite, it has not changed back. And that's where he's at right now.
And as you fester in that, probably dealing with a whirlwind of emotions, you hear a familiar voice. Splat comes up from behind you and says, "Captain? I haven't caught you here before."
Oh, well, Hello, Splat. I didn't know you'd be... It's been a while since I've been here, yes. I'll admit that.
Yeah. Well, me too. It's, 2 years of training, so it's been some time. But before training, I came out here as often as I could. It's a beautiful tree.
It is. And good of you to come. I know Asher's spirit, wherever in the wild it rests, be it this tree or however it works, I'm sure he appreciates that.
And a sort of silence falls over you two as you soak in the tree, the grave site. Birds are nesting in the branches, bugs are eating the leaves. He is truly one with the wild. And at a certain point, you hear Splat speak up again, but with a little quiver in his voice. And he goes, "Captain?" And you look over, and he's not looking at you, but a tear's running down his eyes. And he goes, "I miss him."
I do too. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've been sorry for ever since. And I don't think that will ever go away, no matter what I do.
You don't gotta be sorry, Cap. It's that idiot that died. Sweet mother, he's so fucking dumb.
No. He might have caught himself. He was good at his job. I should have trusted him. I should have not abandoned my position. He could have lived, but he might not have, and I'll never know if I made the right choice or not, but it doesn't feel like I did.
Yeah, well, you made the choice that you thought was right, and I can't blame you for that. And when Asher first died, I was mad at you. I was. But it's not because I thought it was your fault, Brother's reckless. I mean, I heard the story, but the reason I was so mad was because as soon as he died, you quit. You quit fighting. And I don't know, it sounds dumb, but it felt to me at the time as if then he died for nothing.
There's a solid 45 seconds of silence, at which point Bana reaches into the pack at his side, and he takes out an anchoring arrowhead. Just the arrowhead, not the arrow itself. And he shows it to Splat and goes, "How much do you know about these? I'm assuming that you know a little bit from Masma's training, even if this isn't your role, but you know how they work."
Yeah.
This is what I did. This is what I did when I stopped. I put everything into these little things. But I didn't do it for the Masmas. I didn't even really do it for Asher. I did this for me. Because what these are traps, these are anchors that hold themselves. These little things are what I have devoted my life to. Because I need to make sure that everyone who comes after me can be safer, so that no one has to choose between holding their position and saving someone that they love. These are a manifestation of doing your best, of making the right choices. And now they're in the hands of every goddamn anchor in Cazilor. But they're not for them. They're for me. So that what happened to Asher doesn't happen again. I don't know if it's enough. I don't think it is. I don't think anything will ever be enough, but I hope that you can understand that I tried. I didn't quit, at least not in a way that I see as quitting. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And he kind of kneels back down again.
Splat goes, oh, shit. Well, the idiot isn't here, but he looks at you and sits beside you and goes, I'm glad you got in the fight again. And I need you to promise me that you'll never stop fighting.
You know, 2 years ago, I honestly would have rolled my eyes at that. But having been in the fight, having actually saved someone again, it's taken me these few weeks to process it, but I do promise that, Splat. I do promise that I won't stop fighting.
He lets out a deep sigh. And he goes, as far as I'm concerned, Captain, you've atoned enough. And gives you a hug.
Bana hugs him back, which is a very rare thing.
And we pan out from this moment at Asher's grave, at Asher's tree. And we pan over to somewhere else. Clear the air. Whew. Oh, man. We pan over. We pan
Please,
over
I'm
to
begging
somewhere
you.
else.
Panda, Momo, what if you had to have a fun break?
We pan over to Winnie. Winnie, what are you doing with your month off? I imagine you're spending it with Lexi.
There is no rest for the wicked. We are training. We are training all day in and day out to get Lexi as a ranged fighter because that is unacceptable. You are not almost dying again.
The contrast between Bana mourning his dead friend and then cut over to Winnie being like, don't you fucking dare!
You are not gonna die on me! We see you guys at like an archery yard. And you know, fucking let's get down to business ass montage where Alexi's trying to like figure out this bow and arrow. He eventually gets the hang of it. He is willing to, after a stern talking to, he is absolutely willing to switch over to ranged for you. And mechanics-wise, by doing so, he is giving up his Masmus mounted combatant ability, which gives him advantage on basically giants while he's riding his mount. He's giving that up to learn ranged for the sake of Winnie's peace of mind. Is there any particular scene during that you want to roleplay out?
Yes, I want to ask him why the hell he's here.
Winnie, we've talked about this a million times. How's my form?
A little to the left.
Okay.
Left arm lower.
Oh.
Other left.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay.
Why are you here?
I am here because I have like a sense of duty, Winnie. I feel like I need to be here. It's the right thing to do.
A sense of duty is stupid. Why are you here?
To save people.
You could save people by being in the church, you know, saving souls and all that.
Oh, that's a load of phooey. I need something more tangible than that. I think a sense of duty is a very honorable reason to be here.
You could be a healer. You could be like Splat. You could have a Spud with you.
Yeah, but Splat's like, I know he doesn't seem like it, but he's a smart dude. He had to go to witch school. I'm not cut out for that.
You're smarter than Splat. Come on.
I don't know about that. I certainly have my moments. I think I'm smartest on the battlefield. But I don't know. I was always
if you were
athletic.
smartest on the battlefield, you would be 2 centimeters closer to your left. Go.
Okay.
Again.
It
miss the
fucking
shot.
hits a little outside, a little left. Damn.
Why melee? Why melee? You are not blessed. You're not gifted. You're just regular, which I adore about you. But it makes you so likely to just be flattened like a pancake.
I don't know. I'm not, as you can see, I'm not very good with a bow and arrow. I'm good at hitting stuff. I'm a strong guy.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Listen, we got a
something.
whole month.
You could be a trainer. You could be a trainer for children. You could train them to be Masmus people. You could hit them as hard as you want. Actually, you can't. No, they're just children. You can't hit them very hard.
Well, I mean, look, we only have, what is, a Masmus term is what, 3 years? 3 years and we can be done.
Yes, 3 years. You just have to survive 3 years.
That'll be
and
easy.
you will do so much better now that you are not up close and personal with giants. That was our first mission. And you just had to get the killing. But I saw the look on your face. I saw how elated you were. However, it was awful to see you out there.
I didn't look
when
even
you got
like
hit by
a little cool.
You got hit by a club and almost died.
I was fine. We trained to take these big hits.
You were extremely not fine.
Listen, we've talked about this so much. I know we're always going to butt heads. I'm willing to learn ranged for you. That's the best I can do, but I need to be out there. I need to be on the battlefield making that's where the real lives are shaped.
And then what? After 3 years, you can't be out there. So then what will you do? You're telling me you trained your whole life for 3 years of your life? That's it?
Well, before I met you, I might have planned to stay in longer, but now I might reconsider.
And then do?
Well, once we're done, we've served our time. We could do, as you always say to me, literally anything else.
Exactly. Literally anything else. We could run very far away from here.
We could.
Probably. We're not going back to your town because your town, I hate to say it, it's a bad place. It is a bad place.
Yeah, we can't go there. I do have like some distant grandparents that we could inherit a horse farm from.
Oh, where?
It's like somewhere sort of north of Calum Heights. I think you said you lived there once.
Yeah,
in like
back
a
in the
town.
day.
But I mean, that could be a spot. At the very least, we could like live there at first to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, like, we've been making decent money here.
yeah, I mean, the pay is definitely not bad.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, speaking of my village, I did write a letter promising my family that I'd introduce you to them.
No, you did.
And so we do have to do that.
Nice. We have to go there.
We do, yeah.
With the murderous people.
They're not murderous people. They're good people.
I mean, your town did collectively murder that dude. Remember, you told me the first day you met.
Once upon a time, water under the bridge. But yeah, we're running out of time on our break, so we will have to do that soon.
Okay, we'll just go to the land of the murderous people, very quickly. And then be back in time for our mission. And you would be very good with a bow and arrow by that time. Okay, 3 more drills and go.
All right, here we go. And he starts firing. Again, we actually, you know what? We flash forward to Lexi's village. It's not even on the map, but it is sort of southeast of Kragora in like the woods. It takes some time to get there. But eventually you pull up and you get to meet Lexi's family, the D&Dorks. His mom and dad, Krista and Merlin D&Dork. Lexi is an only child. And you know, they meet you, and the mom of course is like, oh my gosh, she's so gorgeous, Lexi, I can't believe it. How did you manage to pull it off? And Merlin, the pops, is like, so are y'all two intertwined?
Excuse me?
Are you walking on level ground, or would you more head for over heels?
Lexi, what is he saying?
Lexi's head is in his hands.
What
He goes,
is he saying?
Dad, could you please? He's like, have you been dancing the boogie of love? I'm like, Dad. No, we're not dancing any boogie of love. He's like, I'm just wondering. And Krista's like, Merlin, you're embarrassing them. Apologies for him. But I'm afraid we simply have to tell the village about this. It's a big deal when someone gets in a serious relationship. Is it too bold of me to say serious? Uh-oh, there I go.
It's a big deal for your whole society. Actually, now that I mention it, what are the rules of your society? Because I understand they are quite strict, actually.
Oh, it's actually very loose and all based on vibe. Follow me. And you guys,
I smile too wide at Lexi, like, only 5? That's it?
And Lexi actually has like the face of a ghost because he knows what's coming, and he mouths to you and like grips your hand and goes, I'm so sorry. And we smash cut to like a village celebration of love where you and Lexi are in the center of it all. There's a huge bonfire, there's dancing, singing, music, all kinds of food, all centered around you two. People are handing you plates and saying, hi, Winnie, oh, it's so nice to meet you. Lexi's such a great guy. You know, I went to school with Lexi. We had a rough and tumble time. You're meeting so many faces. The flowers in your hair start sprouting like crazy because of all the embarrassment.
Full panic. Full panic.
Full panic. This goes on till dusk, where you two are just being celebrated for being a couple, and eventually, finally, in a brief moment, at sunset, you head out to the coast, and you got fucking like colorful smoke powder from blasted on your face from like celebration and like flowers in your hair. I mean, that's abnormal for Lexi, it's normal for you. And you're sitting at the sea looking a little disheveled and tired and holding all kinds, and you're fucking both got your bellies out so full of food.
Yeah. I look at him and I'm like, is this the sea where you drowned that one guy?
Yep, right out there. We just, he swam out and we all stood at the shoreline. And that was that.
And you stood here. This is a romantic getaway for you? Like the beach where that one guy was murdered?
I mean, it's the kind of the only coast we have, so if something bad happens, you just kind of got to look the other way. You only got one beach. People aren't not gonna go to the beach, you know.
I mean, you could have murdered him literally anywhere else than your only beach. It's not a big town, but there's a lot of forest.
Yeah. Listen, like I said, I was 7. But yeah, hey, that's my family. You met my cousins and my second cousins and my third cousins and my fourth cousins. And
Are you related to everyone in this town? Is there
no,
anyone you're
no,
not
not
related
everyone. There's probably, I think if you really do the math, there's maybe like everything can be traced back to like 6 families.
to? Okay. This is a very busy place.
Yeah. It's
We're
got
not
character.
living here.
No.
It's a lot. They do this for every couple?
Yeah, because usually people got to go outside the town to find somebody, and getting outside of town is hard for us, I guess.
Did you kill that guy for cheating? It seems like you guys take love extremely seriously.
No, he like killed somebody or something. I don't remember.
Okay.
Hey, do you think anybody in the squad knows we're a thing?
You know, I don't think I've asked.
Yeah, me neither. And we definitely haven't announced it.
I mean, I feel like we're really good at hiding it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows. And honestly, I kind of like it. Otherwise, they'd be like all in our business about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sure like Soo-young would have taken the first initiative to like publish a story, and since there hasn't been one, I think we're really good at it.
I think we're really good.
Yeah, you have to stop staring at me lovingly though.
Guilty. What can I say?
Yeah.
What can I say? And he kind of takes a deep sigh. And he says, you know, I know you hate it, but if I wasn't so stubborn about duty and you weren't born blessed, I would have never met you. And that makes me sad to think about.
Yeah, you're right. If I hadn't met you, probably would have run away that day.
Really?
I mean, that's like Jeremiah's whole MO. If I hadn't bumped into you, I probably would have gone into the cafeteria and then met him and tried to escape, maybe successfully, maybe unsuccessfully. And, you know, honestly, we probably would have ended up in the same spot.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Jeremiah was there that day, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell you what, Winnie. When our time is done, we can run away together. Deal?
Deal. And we shake on it.
Shake on it. Cool. I'm so full of food.
Yeah, I think I've got to go throw up.
Okay.
I've never been this full in my life. Okay.
And we
What?
cut away from the celebration of love at Lexi's village. A nice palate cleanser to the sad top half of the episode.
Yeah. The episode so far has been R.G. Scritori in Generational Trauma, Adrian Baina in Dealing with Grief, and Winnie Rosenthorn in Young Love.
We head over to our last party member, Jeremiah. Now, Jeremiah, I'm not going to ask you what you're up to because you kind of don't have a choice. Whereas everybody else kind of gets to go home, you have to go back to the Masmus Academy with Highblade Vera because somebody has to keep an eye on you. But while you guys are there, what's life looking like for Jeremiah post, losing a limb? You'll notice in this artwork, he's got a little bit of burns on the face and the arm, and most notably, a new prosthetic made by Captain Adrian Baina.
I love it.
What's life been like for Jeremiah in this first month?
All right, so the way that he kind of sees it, since he has to go back to the Masmus Academy, he's kind of away from prying eyes, honestly. For the most part, he's got, of course he's being monitored, but when he goes back there, he's like, okay, great, I'm away from everybody who's going to matter for the next forever. Because my entire squad is not here, and the only person who's here watching me is Baina's boss, and she's not going to tell him anything.
Yeah.
So, Oh, tell me I'm wrong, Matt.
You're not wrong. But you didn't have to phrase it like that. It's still Baina's squad.
It's Baina's boss. She's not gonna tell him anything. Don't worry about it. So he is kind of, I would say, a little bit more open in terms of he is actively training to learn how to use his leg.
Yeah.
Because he has the prosthetic, and he is desperately trying to figure out how movement works now.
Yeah.
So essentially, the entire time he has been at the Masmus Academy, he has been posted up on a giant dummy, trying to attack the way that he knows how to.
Yeah.
And failing the entire time, because that's not how prosthetics work.
Yeah.
He can't feel anything below his knee on his right leg, meaning weight distribution is different. The feeling of being able to change your ankle's position is different.
Yeah.
Not having toes is different. Everything is so different, especially for someone who has entirely based his combat style off of aggressive and quick climbing.
Yeah.
That it is honestly kind of a sad sight to see if you are looking from the outside in, because it is someone attacking with the veracity and accuracy of someone who has done this before, but fumbling every time.
Right.
It's like he has studied the first step 1,000 times, but is not able to complete any step after that.
I feel like it's similar to when like you see like a professional boxer who is top of their game get like Parkinson's, and they're like kind of just like got the shakes now, and they don't have what it takes anymore. Like their body isn't built for it anymore.
Yeah, they get hit in the eye, and now they're blind and have no depth perception.
Right.
Like they're all of a sudden they have no idea where to throw their punches or something like that. It is someone you can tell has immense skill and has learned this, but something's off, and it's not going to be a simple learning process to get it back.
Right. And this is very apparent from day one, but Vera does help you work on it throughout. I think at a certain point, at some time in between, like near the end of the month. So you guys have been training for your climbing all month. Near the end of the month, you guys are like relaxing. Maybe you're like playing a card game or something. And Vera speaks up and goes, Jeremiah, I forgot to mention, I was looking into the laws regarding punitive service knights, which of course you are, you dirty scoundrel. And I have found that they are extremely gray. Most people who commit crimes severe enough to be eligible to be a PSK are lowly sleazebags, not even capable of being thrown into the Masmus. So it doesn't happen very often.
I don't see why I'm here then.
Well, it's your fault for being unfortunately talented. Now,
that's fair.
Suffering from success, some might say. But regardless, are you familiar with how the internals of Masmus hierarchy works?
To a certain extent.
So you can gain positions through experience or valor. I gained my position as Highblade through valor. Valor being showing great courage in the face of danger. The little stunt we pulled in Lone Shire is a great example of a valorous stunt.
Right.
Captain Baina, some might argue, gained his position through valor as well. But with all the rules, and I would have to run this by a few more of my friends, but I have reason to believe if the war truly is picking up, I believe you could earn your freedom through enough acts of valor.
What is this?
What is what?
This isn't you. What is this about?
Isn't me. I'm trying to throw you a bone here.
Exactly. Highblade, the entire time that I have known you, you have been the most by-the-books person I have ever known, outside of maybe Bana. I am here because you are by the books.
Correct.
I am serving because you are by the books. I am with Bana because you are by the books. There is no finding loopholes when there is not a reason. So what is this? You would not ask me directly if I could earn my freedom through acts of valor if there wasn't something behind it. So what is this?
Is it so wrong of me to perhaps consider that maybe I think you're not so bad?
It's out of character.
Perhaps you just don't know my character. If by the books you
Then
can be
tell me
granted
I'm
your
wrong.
freedom, I see no problem with that. And my friends in the Masmus say that it is possible by the books. It's happened before. Much less extreme cases than yours, but it's happened.
This is off. Something's not clicking here.
I feel like you're just mad because you're losing. And she lays down a card or something. She goes, look, I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm not saying I'm going to help you do it necessarily. You still have to survive these acts of valor. I mean, your first one lost you a limb. But I see you walking around, head hung low, life thrown away. I'm just here to tell you maybe it's not. I know you don't like it here. Is that so wrong?
He lays down another card. Wrong isn't the word I would use for it. Confusing is the word I would use for it.
Jeremiah, I've been essentially your caregiver for the last month. I don't think it's out of the question that we would find some common ground. What you showed me out there on Lone Shire, let me paint you a picture. When you first got here, I hated you. But you proved to be an extremely valuable and, dare I say, noble individual. I do not take those things lightly.
Can I check insight?
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like her. And I want to see if I can see any deeper meaning in what she's saying, because I'm like, you seem far too cordial. We're usually cordial, but we're like bickering back and forth cordial. This is off. We are light banter levels of cordial. We are not, hey, there's a potential that you can earn your freedom levels of cordial. Ah, fuck. All right. That's not good. Yeah, that's a 9. I don't see anything.
I mean, yeah, you believe she's being sincere.
Okay.
To the best of your ability, I mean, you believe what she says, which is that your acts at Lone Shire kind of shed you and your character in a new light. She probably previously saw you as a sleazebag criminal, and sleazebag criminals wouldn't do anything but act selfishly. But then in the first mission, and I suppose for her, all it took was one, with how valorous your act was. In the first mission, she was like, oh shit, you know, maybe this guy, and she knows what your crimes actually were. She didn't just get the information from, like, she knows you had noble causes. Like, you were trying to, you know, you believe people getting
she's got the redacted files.
Right.
Yeah.
She's got, like, she knows you weren't just, like, trying to commit acts of terrorism or whatever the media was trying to spin. She knows that your actions had good intentions, but she didn't believe it. And then she saw you act once again with selfless good intentions at Lone Shire, and now she's throwing you a bone.
Okay. Very hesitantly, Jeremiah puts down another card. Okay. But know that if I do anything that classifies as an act of valor, I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do, not because I'm getting out of here.
That's exactly why I didn't tell you about this until I saw you do it on your own.
I still don't believe there's nothing behind this.
Believe what you want. She lays down a card, and she wins the hand.
This feels like an omen. I grab my crutches and I kind of stand up. And I'm going back to the training room. I've had enough time off.
Yeah, that's good. Actually,
Hobble away.
Captain Baina, I asked him to come by and take a look at your progress. I think we should discuss your role going forward.
He stops, turns around. Excuse you?
Come outside. And she heads to the training yard.
Yeah, it takes me a second, but on my crutches, I come after her.
Baina, you were summoned via letter by Highblade Vera to come and discuss Jeremiah's injury. Jeremiah, when you walk out, you see Baina waiting there for you. And
Captain.
Yeah.
Is discuss the injury all Baina's been told?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he thinks something broke.
You see me
100%. He's like, you wouldn't have summoned me halfway across the continent unless something went actively wrong, right?
Not only that, I'm not wearing the prosthetic right now.
He fully assumes it is shattered into a billion pieces.
I'm not wearing the prosthetic, and I come in on my crutches, and you...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can inside it if you want, but I think you're smart enough to see the absolute confusion and, like, what the fuck is this on Jeremiah's face. He just comes in and just... Captain?
Jeremiah, I'm so sorry.
Jeremiah looks over at Highblade Vera and is like, for what?
For whatever happened. Vera hasn't told me specifics yet, but it sounded somewhat bad. I assumed, at least.
Highblade, what is the captain?
I told Captain Baina to come here discussing your injury. He probably thought I meant your prosthetic.
Captain, the prosthetic is functioning as intended. It works fine.
And is your injury worsened?
I don't assume so.
Vera, I live in Demeter. Why did you call me?
Yes.
If everything is fine.
Thank you for coming down all this way. Sorry to cut your break a few days short. But I would like you to witness this. And she turns to you, Jeremiah, and she goes, Jeremiah, go ahead and show. And you see Vera is a lot more steely now that Captain Baina is here.
Right.
She's back to being steely. She goes, Jeremiah, show Captain Baina how you slaughtered that Masmus Knight oh so long ago. On the dummy here.
Highblade, what are you doing?
I need him to see.
Highblade, you know just as well as I do that this is not.
I need him to see it.
Whatever coy little discussion you're having between yourselves is not helping me understand.
Yes, sir. I go down to the training yard. I put the prosthetic on. I take a second to kind of get used to the movement again. Mm-hmm. And he lines up for his usual mount that he does. hooks the giant dummy with his chain, yanks up, tries to get on, and his foot slips off of the giant, and he goes tumbling down to the earth again.
Ah. Yes, this makes more sense now. That was awful.
He pulls the axe back down again, gets back up. You see him take a deep breath, turn around, and try again. But this time, when he tries to mount, the prosthetic slides off of the side of his leg, and he comes tumbling back down to the earth again.
Well, that's fixable. I can maybe just implant it directly. But
he gets back up, cinches the leg down as hard as it possibly can go, turns back around, tries to swing back up, but his weight is off because he is missing like 10 pounds off of the right side of his body, and completely misses the landing and falls back to the earth again.
Bana is still misunderstanding why he's here.
Yeah.
So he turns to Vera, and while talking to Vera is more saying this for his own reference, kind of goes, I could add some more weight to the leg to compensate, and it might be a little bit painful, but we can just embed the crystals directly into the flesh of the leg, and go up through the center, and it's just like, this is fully in earshot of you, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely workable.
It is indeed a problem.
Yes.
You can see that Jeremiah is holding back words, considering that he is the lowest ranked here.
I mean, yeah, Beta's gonna walk over. If you're just laying there and kind of start inspecting the leg, and as he does that, still looking at the leg, goes, "How has your month been, Jeremiah?"
My month has been this, Captain.
Sorry to hear that. How is the leg working outside of combat situations, at least? That is, in many ways, more important.
I don't wear it outside of combat situations, Captain.
Right. I believe that was discussed. In that case, no, this won't do for the purposes. How do you feel about this situation? Asking not as your captain, but as the creator of your medical device.
Permission to speak freely, sir?
Consider yourself not speaking to a captain.
If I wasn't being held here against my will, and if I was not a punitive soldier, I would have been honorably discharged and sent back home. But because I am forced to work out the rest of my sentence, there is no other option for me than this.
Right. That is a predicament. Vera, I assume since you called me out here, you have at least some suggestion of how to proceed?
I was going to leave that decision up to you, Captain. There are some obvious options. We could try to force Jeremiah to continue, perhaps make improvements on his prosthetic.
Oh, that's a given.
Or there is always the option that Jeremiah Stokes may never climb again.
Are you suggesting shifting him to another role?
Perhaps.
Jeremiah, is this the first you're hearing of this?
Yes, it is the first I am hearing of this, Captain.
I had a follow-up question. Your tone of voice answered it already. However,
as it stands right now, Jeremiah is a danger to himself and to others.
When were you planning on telling me any of this?
Right now.
I have been in here for a month, throwing myself at the ground, you watching over my shoulder the entire time. He stands up, using Bane as like a crutch to get off of the ground.
Bane was not ready for that, so he's almost fell over, but
yeah,
catches.
You saw me throw myself at the floor over and over and over again, and your solution is to wait until the last possible second to show any other option, regardless of my feelings on the matter?
I wanted to see if you could persevere.
All I have done is persevere, Highblade.
Except this time. Which is why it took so long for me to decide.
Bane raises a hand at that. Forgive my misunderstanding, but as I am seeing the situation, I do believe he has persevered this time. I think it's doing Jeremiah a disservice to say otherwise.
You are correct, Captain. For all intents and purposes, he's handling the loss of a limb incredibly well. But I just don't know if he is useful as a climber anymore, unless you can fix his prosthetic.
Of course I will fix his prosthetic, from my
It's
understanding.
not the prosthetic. Permission to have the training room to myself, Captain Highblade.
I don't think any conversation will be the most productive right now, so permission granted, at least from myself. Kind of gesture to Vera, understanding she's going to need to confirm it too.
Agreed.
But I start walking away. As I do so, I turn back to Jeremiah and I'm going like, I will be taking a look at your prosthetic when you're ready. It's again, not necessarily as a captain, but as the creator of your medical device. Whether you choose to use it casually or not, I think it would be good for you to have the option. But then he leaves.
When the room is empty, Jeremiah just kind of goes down into sort of a runner's position, takes a couple deep breaths, and just says to himself, "You can learn this. You can learn this. It's just a technique." And he braces himself back on the prosthetic again and tries again and keeps trying again and keeps trying again and keeps trying again. And unless anyone comes to him, that's what he does until we reconvene, is just throw himself at this fucking dummy. Regardless of how it affects the rest of him, trying to get it.
And I would say this meeting is probably happening. I'll be a little generous and say a week before the break is over, so most of the month has passed. But this meeting is happening about a week before. Up to you, Panda, and Matt, if you wanted to allow Bana to try and do modifications while he was there, and if you think it would have helped.
No.
I'll leave that in your hands.
Yeah, Jeremiah 100% thinks it's not going to help. He knows it's not the functioning of the prosthetic that's the problem. He knows in and of himself that this is difficulty as a user. This is difficulty as a new amputee, as someone trying to learn what it's like to live after a debilitating injury. He knows that no matter how many upgrades you use and how many things you do to the prosthetic, he still doesn't have his leg. There is still going to be a loss of feeling, a loss of motion, a difference in feeling. Even if you're able to wire it directly to his nervous system, it's not going to be the same. So it's going to be an adjustment no matter what. And he knows that but as a very stubborn person is simply trying to power through it, is simply trying to, I can just learn this, I can figure it out. I just need to adjust the technique and I'll be able to get it. Because it hasn't really sunk in that he has lost a limb. He is he still sees himself as a climber, so the idea of changing his role is a direct insult to everything he's taught himself and everything he's been through.
And on that note, I will add, if Beta has any level of say in this, he's actually going to be surprisingly, like, very much for you changing roles for reasons that you wouldn't necessarily know. But as the players and audience now know, he has a very vested interest in his climbers not falling.
Yeah.
So he's going to probably try to push you to switch maybe a little more than you would like.
Mm-hmm. Well, if we only have like a week until we go back.
You'll have like a week to go back.
You're kind of being met with a stonewall response to that.
I figured as much. I just wanted to say it for note.
Yeah, it might build it. It's like it's getting to him, but you're very much getting a sort of like, understood, Captain. Thank you for your advice. I will take it into consideration. It all of a sudden his voice goes directly into I am a soldier at the lowest rank. The second that it gets brought up, and then he drops this subject and doesn't go back to it. And it gets your conversations, the more you push it, get more and more formal every single time.
Gotcha.
Wow. And if there's nothing else in that scene, I think we can safely say that the month break ends and all of the headliner squad, including Su Young, meets back up at the Masmus Training Academy. It was a month-long break. Winnie, Splat's dog Spud, immediately runs up to you and is like, Winnie, oh my god, I missed you so much. Where were you?
Oh, Spud, it's been a long time, buddy. You know, I was here and there, up and about.
Yeah, we were gone for a while. It was it was a long time.
What'd you get up to? What have you doing?
I've just been running around, jumping on things, barking at stuff. It's been great.
All right, not eating any strange mushrooms, eh?
No, not anymore. I learned that one time I ate one and vomited.
Thank you. I did explain it to you before you ate it.
But I just didn't believe you, and it looked really good.
No,
it looked so good.
No, not just because it might smell like meat, but it absolutely is a poisonous mushroom. That's the whole reason why it smells like that, is so that you eat it and then you vomit it up and then spread the spores around. It's a whole thing.
And I will never eat a mushroom like that again unless it looks different and also smells good.
Okay, we'll work on it. It's fine. We'll work on it.
Splat actually approaches Jeremiah during this comeback and was like, what's up, dude? How's the leg? Did I do a decent job patching you up? Your face looks a little fucked up, but I mean, couldn't help that much. Not much to work with, you know what I mean?
Panda, as the player, is so taken aback by just walking up to an amputee and being like, "Hey, how fucked up's your body?" Like,
yeah.
hey, how's that fucking stump? You feeling good? Did I do a good enough job? Did I singe it good enough? I as the player, am like taken aback by that.
I think all of us kind of feel that. And I just look at Splat and I'm just like, so what'd you do on your vacation, Splat? Spud was telling me he didn't eat any mushrooms.
Jeremiah's just like glaring at Splat. Like,
he doesn't even pick it up. He's like, no.
I put my arm on his shoulder and start walking him away.
Yeah, me and Spud, we got up to no good as usual. We went on lots of runs, kept the cardio up. I went
oh my
family.
God, tell me more, and so far away from here.
Get away from the known murderer right now, you psychopath. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I think Lexi probably comes up to the Scritories and is like, RG, Ari, how you guys doing? And he kind of fist bumps your shoulder, RG.
Fine.
How was
How
your
are you
break?
doing, local hero?
Yeah, I guess. I'm doing good. You'll notice that he doesn't have a sword at his hip anymore. He has a fucking... What the fuck is it called?
A bow.
But like the
bow.
thing that
A
holds
bow.
a quiver. He has like a quiver,
quiver, yes.
and a bow on his back now.
That question really may be more for Winnie and Lexi than anyone else. Did you tell Bana that was happening?
No.
Okay, cool. We'll have that talk in a minute.
Lexi kind of goes, oh, I decided I decided that after I almost died last time, to go for a more ranged approach to my stalwart business, and so been practicing with the bow, doing lots of training, getting pretty good at it.
Can I make an insight check on that statement?
Yeah.
That's a 23.
He is mediocre at the bow on his best day.
Well, I wanted to read for. I decided when he told you to do
When
it.
he told him to do it, absolutely. He's like, yeah, I'm getting pretty good at it. It'll come to me with time.
It does seem like a much less stupid way for you to approach combat.
Yeah, you were pretty much guaranteed to die if you kept using a sword. He's like, that's what I was thinking.
I imagine every time he says "I," there's just a little asterisk and then subtitles appear that say "my girlfriend."
Yeah. It's exactly what I
Yeah,
was
our-
thinking.
Sure thing.
And, yeah, unless there's anybody else that wants to say anything to anybody else real quick.
Bana is probably overheard this conversation. Bana has been back with this group for 10 minutes. And not only is one of his squad mates probably going to have to change roles, at least in his eyes, probably going to have to change roles. Another one of his very small squad has entirely changed fighting styles. So he leaves for a month and he comes back, and in his eyes, his entire tactical overlays that he has thought of for years shattered. Gone.
Alexi will come up to you and be like, what's up, Captain?
Someone has gone into his video game and changed his save file. And he's just Lexi,
Yeah.
what are you holding?
Did I forget to... yeah, I've been learning to use a bow because I like, living.
I'm gonna also insight check the exact same way that RG did that. My insight is not as good, but we'll see. 7. Maybe I do
Well,
believe in action.
he rolled a 5.
Oh, okay. Well,
So...
exact same thing happened. Like, same cadence, same timing. Winnie told you to...
Well, I mean, she helped me consider it. Before we left for break, she had a conversation with me. I did not talk to her during break. That'd be weird.
Well, are you two not together?
No.
Okay, back to the topic at hand. Your sword, I can't help but notice, is not on your person.
Yeah. Is that going to be a problem?
Typically, a captain should be informed when one of his squad changes everything about their fighting style.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, well, hey, Captain Bana, if it's okay with you, I'd like to switch to a ranged fighting style.
Bana just kind of like slowly closes his fist, and you hear Amphis rattle a little bit behind his back. Just,
Jeremiah's
be
in this
in a-
group, just face palming in the back. She's, oh my god.
Our mission, which I shall brief everyone on momentarily, will largely be non-combative. So I shall, as an archer myself, take note of your skills, and we'll see how things progress over our next operations. How about that?
Cool. And Splat shouts out, "Let him do it, Captain. He's so squishable." And Ari's like,
If they didn't
so
have
squishy.
that conversation over the last month,
So squishy.
Bana is a little bit more chill with Splat now after they
Yeah.
talked. But like, Amphis rattles louder, and the other hand at his side also clenches into a fist. Like,
Can I come over here?
Yeah.
please do, yes.
Yeah, Captain, is there a problem?
Let's brief everyone on our next operation, shall we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. I would love to know more about that.
Good. Yes.
I will say Winnie has a +6 to intimidation. I think she just walks over and like stares at Captain Bana.
Are
and,
you
like,
trying to
different flowers.
intimidation roll your boss?
Oh hell yeah, I would. I'm not
What do
afraid of you.
Okay, fine. What's my counter roll, and do
So-
I get advantage on it for being Winnie's boss?
You would have to roll. Oh gosh, it would have to be intimidation versus, I guess, your persuasion. And Winnie, I'll give you advantage for this.
Okay.
You're giving Winnie advantage?
Yeah, it's her man's.
All right, fine. That's a dirty 20.
Ooh, that is a 24.
Okay.
Oh, fuck off.
And you know what? At least he didn't cave immediately. And I think a 24 to a dirty 20. That okay. I'll
I
take
feel
it.
like my flowers are like almost like dissonant whispers in Bana's ears. Just like, don't do it. She's really mad. She's
Anyone
really mad.
nearby
She's
the
really mad."
conversation hears this truly terrifying undertone of both creepy flower whispers and magic rattle. Like, there's just the conversation's so casual, and the air around is tense.
Yeah, she's
But-
just like they're smiling. Is there a problem?
We're both just there, like forced smiles, as our respective companions are like death stare. I mean, yeah, Beta rallies everybody to give the brief on the mission.
Cool. Do you want to give any
I
part of
wanna
that in
say-
role play?
I was gonna leave that to you. I will say this for the benefit of the audience. We got a scroll at the end of last time that had the
Yes.
details on our mission. I have that scroll in front of me, and when I say I have that scroll, I mean Nathan, insane world builder that he is, sent
Yeah.
me 8 fucking paragraphs that are
Jesus.
the exact details of Headliner Squad's next operations. I'm not going to read them all here, but if anyone has any questions for Bana,
Yeah.
I have the brief not in hand,
So,
but in
I mean-
front of me.
Yeah, all of you would know, just to clarify for the audience and for the players, that the next mission is taking place in Estrasol, at a major city in Estrasol called Teframount. You are tasked with protecting a politician, Viscount Nunez, who is a giant. And we believe, because your attack on Lone Shire, Atraria said it was an act of war, wartime is back up. Due to information from Forget-Me-Not, we know that Viscount Nunez is a potential target, one of many, for assassination. So you're tasked with his protection for 6 months. That's all you know as knights. But if nobody has any questions, then we can go ahead and take our break. And we are back. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, you already know the fucking deal. we do an after show. It's Patreon exclusive. It's pretty cool. Also, vote for us in the Crit Awards because there's only like a week left. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, there's only a few days left. I think it ends July 7th. I know a lot of you have already voted, but we'll take everything we can get. I feel confident that both the D&Dorks and I will win our respective categories, but be sure to get your votes in, do your part, do your duty for humanity, and vote for us at the D&Dorks.
I posted a TikTok about it and it has over 50,000 views, so we better win.
That's incredible. Also, the source book. The source book is almost ready. I think we're going to tentatively set the release date to be the YouTube release of episode 6. Looks like that will be July 10th?
Yeah, July 10th.
July 10th is the source book. Remember, it is a beta. There is very little artwork in it at all, but the meat and potatoes of it is all in there. And we'll just be adding all the extra stuff as we go and adding even more monsters and stuff. I think right now we have 34 new stat blocks.
Yeah, well, it's right now in the sort of earliest version. It's 80 pages of content.
Yes.
Like, it's not just a tiny little supplement. Like, it's a source book.
It's a source book, and we will continue to work on it forever and all time. And again, it's a digital release only for now because it's still a beta. And if you buy the book, you will get all digital updates of the book. We will email you a code to get it for free because you supported us from the beginning, so you don't have to keep buying it every time we drop a new edition. I can also... It's a little tricky to calculate exactly how much this is happening, but as you know, we've had Tales from Cazilor merch available for quite some time now, and 25% of my profits are being donated to Palestine Children's Relief Fund. I can confidently say, and again, it's probably a little bit more than this because I have to do just rough estimations right now because of splits and sharing money with other manufacturers and stuff, but I can confidently say that we have raised at least $1,900 for Palestine Children's Relief Fund. We
sold a lot of Cazilor merch. Holy shit!
Merch. So thank you guys for all that. Keep it going. It feels good to do good things and help out in the world in our little nerdy way. That's a really fucking cool thing we all managed to do, and we can keep doing because the store is going to be open all summer, or at least while this campaign is running. So that's super cool. I think that's everything that I have to announce. And so if everyone's ready, we can hop right back in. You guys are traveling to Estersol. Now, this is a long journey. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a long journey by land and by sea. So I hope some of you have your sea legs, because you have to first travel by horse-drawn carriage to Opulo, to the docks of Opulo, and then once you get there, first off, you notice a lot of other Masmus squads are here, because as Matt would know and you guys would know, there are multiple Estersol politicians who are in need of protection over the next 6 months now that wartime is picking back up. And so you're not the only ones here. There's also some people here who have nothing to do with that at all. They're probably just going to the Masmus, or the Estersol branch of the Masmus Training Academy to run some exercises. A bunch of different squads are here for a bunch of different reasons. You all load up your horses, into this absolute galleon of a ship. There's probably 100 Masmus knights and like a dozen Masmus captains on this ship, and fucking make way, sail out from the Thassadine Sea into the abyss. Now, you're not going all the way out into the abyss. You're going to stay along the coastline because you don't need to be getting attacked by any leviathans of any kind. That wouldn't be good. But as you sail, you get to see the coastline of Estersol. Specifically, in a certain moment, you'll cross Surfcrest, which has the wild's largest shipyard dock anywhere, and you pass by The giants of Estersal, their main source of food is sushi. It's leviathans. You are surrounded by hundreds of ships that are also galleons, but made for giants. Your ship can hold hundreds of humans. Theirs can hold hundreds of giants. They make you look like you're in a fucking canoe. And so you're like riding along, and these huge cruise ship-sized things are rolling past you. You look like a small-town kid visiting New York for the first time, because you can only see the tops of these if you're looking straight up at the sky. And it's insane. There's also a lot of human ships here too. There are some crazy people in the world, some crazy humans that try to Leviathan hunt as well. And it's just a whole ordeal. You hear people singing like shanties and shit, like way away, another day, another night at sea. And it's an entire thing. It's like their entire culture is based around this food source, which obviously it's their way of living. And so a lot of people participate. And you sail all the way through that. You get all the way up to the northernmost part of Estersal, which is the city of Teframount. Now, Teframount is the city closest to the royal estate, which is where Mount Sovereign Ginsey lives and his family. And so a lot of nobles live in Teframount or on the outskirts of Teframount in that area. As this Masmus ship wheels up, again, smallest ship in the dock, surrounded by these gargantuan wooden creations, you pull up and dock and get into the city of Teframount, and you see that it's very similar to a Cazilorian city, just a lot bigger. Most of the buildings are made of stone instead of wood, but they have paved roads just like you. And there's also a lot more plant life here. Like, Opulo has plant life in the city, but it's like you have to go to a park. Here, it's like you see trees and plants as often as you would see streetlights or mailboxes. And very nature-oriented. Most of the buildings made of stone. Everything freaking huge. As you come out of the ship, there's like a protocol for when humans arrive, where like people hold up these giant 20-foot banners of the Masmus flag and blow this horn over and over, just basically saying, hey, don't step on us, we're coming through the street. And you know, these 35, 45 foot tall giants all like step over you or get out of the way. You see like children giants who are only like 10 feet tall get on like their hands and knees and look at you and be like, whoa, and like point at you as you ride through town. And this continues until you get all the way out of the city. All of the different squads branch off into different locations, and you keep on heading outside of Teframount to the estate of Viscount Nunez. You are met at a gate by two giants, one in an absolutely dapper suit, and the other, who is much larger, probably like 50, 60 feet tall, who is wearing a regal outfit, who you presume to be Viscount Nunez, kin of Belore.
I mean, on approach, Baina is like already very much on alert. Just the second we got into Esther's, having read all of the many things that I was told in this brief, like, he's probably a little bit more. How do I phrase this? He's very wary. He's less like actively on edge. He's not like twitchy and panicky, but he's also very constantly locked in. Like, there's possible danger at every turn. I have to be aware.
Yes.
So he's going to be doing that for the next several months. You've
been at sea for days. This is the first time you're on land in a while. I don't know if that would negatively affect any of you. If maybe some of you are a little bit seasick. But as you approach, Viscount Nunez does a big wave and says, "Oh, Captain Adrian Baina, hello!" And you slowly approach with your squad. As you do, he says, hello, hello. He's an old fella. And he kind of kneels and palm up, extends a hand down with his pointer finger, slightly extended, extends it down right in front of you as a sort of greeting gesture.
Baina, returning the gesture, places his hand on the extended finger, as is the traditional sort of equivalent of a handshake for these two species with very much size differences to where a handshake wouldn't really be practical. And just in a very formal tone, goes, hello, Viscount Nunez. I, of course, am Captain Baina, as you are well aware. This is my squad. I go through and kind of just introduce everybody individually. We're honored that you've chosen us for this position, and we will do our utmost to protect you during this tumultuous time.
Yes, thank you. I look forward to spending the next 6 months with you all until the war gets a little less hot. This is my butler, Merelian, kin of Gorwyn, and Merelian is a much younger man, skin gray, as if he was, the way giant skin works is their skin color mimics the color of the ground that their original seed was planted in. So he was clearly grown out of some kind of stone or rock. Skin gray. Viscount Nunez has sort of like a beachy, sandy kind of skin tone himself, probably because he was raised on the coast, as most giants are. And Morellian gives you like a little, harumph, a bow, whatever it may be. You're here.
Real quick, I just want to note, because Baina would have said this as we were approaching. It is in the brief that the butler has been thoroughly vetted and should be trusted.
Yes.
I know at least some people, Jeremiah, are a little bit suspicious going into this sort of operation. And at least from the intel that we have currently, the butler is trustworthy. So Beta's taking that as obviously he's wary of everything, but he's taking that as truth.
Yes. And Viscount Nunez kind of goes, please come in. We've retrofitted the house long ago to be able to accommodate giants and humans. And as you approach his estate, first off, obviously it's gated, but you see this huge white house made of marble and absolutely covered in plants and vines. Going all the way up to the walls, on the roof, everywhere. There's also like a separate garden. It's only like probably like a 10-minute horse ride to the city limits. Far off at the back of the estate is a sort of small but still giant-sized cabin, like a one room. That's the butler's personal home on the estate. And it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, not to mention, this is like a mansion for a giant, so it's also fucking huge. Just absolutely huge. And you walk up, there are stairs leading into the house for giants and for humans. Nunez says, you can bring your horses inside if you like. We have a small little stable for you in the kitchen. And,
in the kitchen. Makes sense. As we're approaching, Baina is going to take out a very, very thick scroll from whatever bag he has. Now, since we found out about this assignment, I have been making a list of some possible security protocols we can enact. I am an enchanter myself, so I'm experienced in these things. And he unfurls this. Again, just very long, very detailed list of like, we're going to place alarms here, here, and here. We can put these sort of protections, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to have everybody, use these sort of crystals to identify themselves as they enter and exit the property. Like, there's a massive thing it starts going over.
Yes. Now, would you have told your squad, and I might have mentioned this and just forgot, but would you have told your squad about the most likely time for an assassination?
Yeah, I think I would have given them like the general information. Let me find that most specifically in my brief here. I'm sure it's in here somewhere.
might be a little buried.
Oh, yes. There's a scheduled meeting with the diplomat.
Yes.
Yes. Who I remember because the diplomat's name is Matthias, and I read that for a second and did read it as Matthew, and I was like, what?
Yeah, at a certain time. Yeah, go. You can divulge that as Bana or as yourself or whatever you have the information.
In the brief, I will just read it verbatim. It says, in the coming months, Viscount Nunez has a scheduled meeting with an Etrurian diplomat named Matthias. They're discussing the conditions for release of some prisoners, and given that it's a meeting with an Etrurian diplomat, possible assassination attempt, because it's like the only scheduled meeting with Etruria in the coming months. That's like the specific thing that is the highest risk point over the course of our protection here.
Yes, and
I would have told everybody that.
That meeting isn't scheduled. So, okay, more lore stuff. I know I'm yapping a lot, but so your mission, you got a month off. Your mission is intended to last from the month of Sapphire, September, to Feldspar, February. So 6 months. The meeting with the ambassador is not supposed to happen until the month of Diamond, December. And it's actually scheduled on the day of what's called Lunar Crescentine's Eve, which is basically a Cazilorian Christmas. Diamond 24th is Lunar Crescentine's Eve. Diamond 25th is Lunar Crescentine. And that's when this meeting is scheduled, Lunar Crescentine's Eve. So that's like the Masmus's main concern is that meeting, but obviously protection all around, all throughout the 6 months. But if someone was to attack, that would be probably the best opportunity. And we could just hop straight into this. We have 6 months to blitz through in the next hour. So here's what we're going to do here. We're going to do something similar to what we did for the headliner's role for the newspaper. But I'm going to call these protection roles. Okay? Bana, we can do this as a group, but ultimately it's Bana's decision, has to create people in groups of 2. There are 4 checks that are going to happen in this 6 months. A duo perception check, a duo persuasion check, a duo intimidation check, and a duo investigation check. So these are all opposed rolls. I've already rolled them. And depending on if you succeed or fail on these checks, we will role play then the scenario that happens with those people.
Okay. So we have RG and Ari, Winnie, Jeremiah. I'm assuming that Bana is included in this.
Yes, and
right?
Highlight Vera is also, and Splat.
Vera, Splat, Lexi makes 8.
Yep. So 4 groups of 2.
And the 4 categories again.
Perception, persuasion, intimidation, investigation.
All right.
And we will be taking, it's not who rolls best, it's the average of the duo's rolls. Okay. So if one of you biffs it and one of you gets a nat 20, you're going to get a pretty mid roll.
First thing that jumps to mind to Bana, because it jumps to mind to me, I feel like it makes the most natural sense to put Ari, the person who has fear magic, on intimidation.
Okay, yep.
Right?
That makes sense.
Kind of gotta be that.
So let me also make note of this.
Does anyone object to putting the girl who can cause primal fear in anyone she looks at on intimidation?
I don't object, but since I'm in Ori's duo, I'll note that my investigation is +9. My intimidation is +1.
I was going to put RG on investigation as well, being
Splitting up the duo.
Being the journalism.
Okay, so Ari on intimidation and RG on investigation. That seems smart so far.
I don't actually have any crazy stats here, but I do have. If I use an ability that I have here that I just gained, I have a functional +6 to investigation as Bana. So Bana should probably also be on investigation.
Okay, and then so we have 2 people on investigation. That one's full. RG and Bana.
Yes.
We have persuasion and perception, which is empty and intimidation, which needs one more.
Intimidation.
And anybody can chime in here, by the way.
Yeah. Again, this is an open forum here. Intimidation. I am inclined to say either Vera or maybe Jeremiah. Winnie also did get a good intimidation check earlier in the episode, but I don't know what her stat is to that, or if that was just luck.
not that
Yeah,
good.
you guys can claim your stats, but I won't tell you the NPC stats.
Yeah, that makes sense. You
I
said
have a
plus
My
plus
intimidation is not great.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm fucking stupid. It has to be Winnie on intimidation because there's no way in hell we're not putting the lady with magic hawk vision on perception. Why was I?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I was gonna let
Why
you
was I
guys.
considering anything else? Yeah, Winnie, you cool with being scary with Ari?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Girls' night.
Put Vera on
Girls' night. Be
perception.
terrifying.
Absolutely. I mean, gaslight gatekeep girl boss. Okay, so I also am not going to look at chat for this because I don't want any.
Yeah, we have
outside
nobody in
input.
persuasion and one left in perception.
I think. See, here's the thing about Lexi. Lexi is a very charming boy. I don't know if he's charming in the I have a high persuasion stat way, or if it's the I am a himbo kind of way, you know? I don't know if those two things line up with each other necessarily, but I feel like we still gotta put him there. Plus, this is a consideration for Bana, especially given he's switching weapons. Feel like perception is probably one of the safer things that he could be on. I don't think persuasion.
Yeah.
Persuasion typically isn't going to be associated with a lot of active combat and
Right.
danger.
Right.
Anyone debating that? Lexi on persuasion? Does Winnie approve
I'm
of
sure
him
Winnie-
being
I'm
on
sure
a
Winnie would
diplomatic
approve.
side?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's fine.
God, that makes sense. It's just painful because I have a +5 in persuasion. So I'm like,
There's another spot on
Well-
persuasion.
The other thing that makes this interesting is like, do we want to put the criminal known for
I would
killing
love
an
good
Espersal
cop, bad
giant?
cop with persuasion. Good cop, bad cop would be
Oh, that would be great.
hilarious.
Oh,
that
good
would be
cop.
amazing. Also, I can like cover up my like severed leg so it just looks like
Yeah.
no, those stories aren't true.
The risks associated with putting that guy.
We are building roleplay scenes right now. So if you want Lexi
Yeah.
and Panda to be in a scene together like that,
Damn it. Okay. Well, I mean,
I
that,
think that would be
that
fun.
that did
Funny.
convince me. That actually, I feel like this is not a good idea, but that we're doing it for a bit.
It's not a good idea, but it's entertaining.
so
This
that
is a live show. We have to do some things for the
Do
bit.
it for the TikTok. We need the clips.
we need the clips
And that leaves Splat on perception.
with Vera.
Therefore, also Spud on perception. Maybe. Fingers crossed. Is that how that's gonna work?
I think Vera's really going to be carrying the weight of that.
Vera's probably going to be carrying that. I feel like if any of these, Splat probably would have also been the best at persuasion.
Splat's actually not that good at anything that isn't medicine and like survival, so he's kind of a moot point.
Well, you know what? Maybe
But-
perception is probably better than persuasion if he's a medicine and survival guy.
cool.
So yeah, I think that's our breakdown here.
So that's
If no one has any active objections at the last minute.
that's everyone.
Yeah.
These are essentially the way this is going to be flavored story-wise is this is Bana's game plan for this mission. These are your tasks for the 6 months that you're here. These are the duos that you're working in all the time. And so, I mean, you can obviously mingle and stuff, and you have to like, this is taking place over 6 months. It's not like you're not going to see each other. And you're all in the same fucking house. But we're going to start with Perception, which notably has 2 NPCs in it.
Yeah, that one's double NPC.
So I will just roll that real quick. First for Vera, who has a +10 to this.
Glad I remembered that was her thing.
Bad roll. Bad roll. Vera got a 2 on the die for a 12.
Thank God she has a +10. It's at least pushed it to above
And-
average.
Splat's turn.
Come on, Splat. Come on, Splat.
Splat got a dirty 20.
Hell yeah, Splat.
Okay, so what's that average? 16?
Let me look at my little document here.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I'll just narrate this as it happens. Before I begin, I will say they failed. The opposed check was really good on this one. And Vera was kind of supposed to pull her weight, and I guess she got a little distracted by Splat's nonstop yapping. Probably one day, Splat's just like, yeah, so my cousin twice removed has 6 toes, and then my cousin 3 times removed, you're not going to believe how many toes he has. And when this happens, suddenly we hear a crash of a breaking window. And fucking Vera and Splat run in, or anybody else runs in, but they're the first on the scene, and they see a bomb thrown through the window of the Viscount Nunez's estate. It lands right in the fucking living room. They freak the fuck out. Splat actually dives over onto the bomb and goes, "Get out of here!" And then it explodes into bushes and flowers and vines.
Oh, it's this thing. I know what this is.
This
is a lore thing. Oh,
what's
thank
known
God.
as plant bombing, and it is a form of vandalism in the wild. Fucking Splat is completely fucking restrained in a bunch of vines. The whole fucking living room has plants all over it. We see 2 teenage giants running away from the gate of the Nunez estate, laughing their ass off. And there's a note that was attached to the bomb, and it said, "Kill those prisoners." How does the rest of the squad react
We might
to
want
that?
to flash briefly back to a little bit of Bana reading some of the brief.
Yes.
For some context, I'll read exactly where it is. Where is
Frame it for me. Why is Viscount Nunez a target?
yes? The Viscount is the man who spearheaded the movement for the Masmus to start taking prisoners of war when they can, because those prisoners can be used to gather information and be potential bargaining chips. They're not treated poorly. In fact, their living conditions are pretty good. And this initiative has been fairly effective, as they have gotten good information out of Atrarian prisoners. But this is also super controversial for basically every side, because a lot of citizens don't see the value of these prisoners and would rather have them gone. And also, for what it's worth, for the Atrarians, not dying in battle and getting captured is incredibly dishonorable, and so they're pissed equally despite their soldiers being alive. So basically just a very practical but also very unpopular decision, which is why we think people
Yes.
want to kill him.
The Atrarian.
Hey, Captain.
Klingon.
Hey,
That was
Captain.
obviously not said in Bana's voice, but yeah.
Hey, how are we getting the information out of these prisoners of war that we have obtained, especially if being a prisoner is 100% against their moral code?
Jeremiah, that was not in the brief, understandably. I understand your concern. I understand your...
Hold on. No. As Panda, we are going to need to convince Jeremiah to not kill this man himself. I am going... There is nothing about this that Jeremiah is okay with.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
You know what? Let's put it this way. Jeremiah hears that the note says kill those fucking prisoners and brings it to Bana going,
Actually, can we say, and I don't know, this might cause like more roleplay tension later, but it kind of does track, especially given like that Jeremiah's at a somewhat like unstable place psychologically with losing a limb. Bana might not have told him that part. Like, I
would allow it if you didn't want to.
That's interesting.
you want to light the fuse on this time bomb?
I mean, because
You want to pull the pin on that grenade? You know that's not going to work out well in the end.
It would not have, but also again, Oh, this is a really interesting character choice to make here. If you were doing good, he would tell you, but he also knows that you're not. And does he want to be the guy who tells this very unstable, traumatized, like actual revolutionary the nature of this?
I will allow Jeremiah and Bana
God.
to roll a history check to see if they have heard of these things of how this happens.
I'll roll a history check to inform this decision a little bit more at the very least. Because I have good history. 14. That wasn't as great as it could have been.
17.
Oh, you know more about it than I do outside the brief. That's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a revolutionary.
That actually probably saved this.
So, the angle that these that Estrasol takes on doing this, or rather the Masmus takes on allowing this to be done, is that it's not like a fucking, war camp. We're starving them and torturing them till we get the information.
Right.
The angle that Viscount Nunez fought so hard for is he truly believes that Atrarians are essentially brainwashed to hate us, and so when he brings in POWs, it's rehabilitation to undo it. And with a 17, he has been successful. Granted, not very often, but he has been successful in rehabilitating and teaching some of these Atrarian knights that their way of thinking is flawed.
Yeah, Stokes really doesn't like the renamed re-education camps. He really doesn't like the vibe of that regardless.
The linchpin of this, and I don't know if there's any way that Jeremiah would necessarily know this, is does this rehabilitation take the form of humans aren't awful, or does it take the form of Cazilor is good?
Yeah.
Again,
you know what? That's a really
said,
good point.
Yeah, I think if it's the first one, cool. Expose the Atrarians to some human culture, be like, hey, we're also living beings, that's fine. I don't think that's problematic. If it's Cazilor is great, please believe us, that might be a little bit...
And granted, you can believe what you want. You did get a 17, not a nat 20, but it is the first one. It's, hey, these humans are creatures of the wild too. You fucking worship the wild.
That?
Yeah, that's why I said, I was like, I think that's what it is, but like knowing more about the lore as someone who works on the setting, like, I think that's what it is.
You know it as far as you could know it without ever having been to one of these camps.
Okay, so I know that's what Cazilor is telling me.
I was about to say, yeah, so that's extremely unhelpful.
So me as a revolutionary knows that the government is telling me that they have re-education camps where they take prisoners of war, lock them up, and sometimes, only sometimes, do people come out the other side on our side.
Correct.
Am I hearing that correctly?
Correct.
Stokes wants to murder this man. You will actively have to keep me from him. There is a good fucking reason you have me waiting outside. Like, the second I heard his name, I have been very awkward and silent this whole time.
Noted.
So, that happens. Let's move on to the next roll.
Jesus!
Welcome to war. Persuasion. Let's see here. Who's on persuasion? Lexi, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah!
Wow.
Ah!
You know what's so funny about this?
Ah!
Is I didn't tell you guys what these rolls would be for. This roll is a persuasion opposed to Viscount Nunez.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
So
I'm so fucking glad
we have an interesting thing we can do here.
Terrible
This is not
idea!
scripted, guys. That one just happened organically.
How do I get sent to prison twice? I don't understand.
Here's the situation that you end up being dealt with, okay, before you roll. Because I'm going to give you the choice to opt to sabotage this roll if you want to. Okay? Due to your strong feelings.
Fuck.
At a certain point, again, the year's going on. These events are happening, weeks apart, months apart, whatever. A few weeks go by. Viscount Nunez, at a certain point, has been staying inside of his estate per request from the Warlord Assembly and from Captain Baina and all this stuff. He hasn't been leaving. And you can tell he's not used to that. He's a socialite. He wants to get out there. He's a politician. They want to socialize. At a certain point, Viscount Nunez wishes to go to a cocktail party being thrown by a high noble in Teframount. Any giant with any pull will be there. Clearly an obvious safety concern.
Mm-hmm.
But he needs to be convinced not to go by Jeremiah and Lexi.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Lexi and Jeremiah convincing a man to not go to a party may be the shittiest option we could have possibly gone with.
Holy fuck!
Oh my God.
Okay, sure.
Do we have to roll? Can
Let's
we
do this.
30 seconds
Let's
of our
talk
own
this
time?
out.
Let's.
Councilman!
Do you want to roll first, or do you want to opt to fail?
I'm
and just
being half serious. Do we need to
even
roll?
need to
We
roll?
know how this is going to go.
We can just role play it if you would like.
Sure. Yeah, let's role play it. Let's see how this actually goes.
But what if he rolled really well?
What if he rolls great? Who knows? What if he convinces me this is a good idea? How about... Oh my God. You know what? No, that actually sounds like a great plan. I don't see any security risks. Do you? I think he's fine.
Jeremiah, I don't know. I feel like surely going to a party with a bunch of giants can't be good.
I mean, it's a party within our walls, right? They're probably all vetted. Right?
No, he said it's like deep in Teframount. We'd have no way of vetting all those guys.
Oh, yeah, but, they're probably fine. Maybe they went to the re-education camps. I mean, rehabilitation camps.
What was that?
I mean, rehabilitation centers. The thing that he's super into. They're probably fine.
I feel like there's tension in the room.
No, nothing. Nothing at all, Viscount.
Oh, yeah, Viscount Nunez, I think we might need to bring this to Captain Baina.
No, Baina doesn't need to hear about that. A small little excursion, he's fine. I mean, you're fine, right? You feel safe, right?
Of course.
I imagine
sure?
at this point, there's just a conversation going on somewhere else in the manor where Vera and Baina are talking, and Vera's like, who's with Nunez right now? And Baina's just like, oh, I think it's... Excuse me a moment.
Because of this radicalization, I will allow Captain Baina to jump in on this role play if he wants to. Because it's kind of got sprung on us.
I did that as a bit, but I can show up if we need.
If you want to.
It's a big mansion. He might not make it in time.
Yeah, I genuinely might not. I said that as a joke.
If Lexi's gonna roll for this.
Okay.
Do you just want to opt out of the role and leave it up to him? Or I tell you what, I'll with your talk, it'll give him disadvantage.
Great. Perfect.
Okay.
I opt out. I'll give him disadvantage. That works
Can
for
I
me.
give him a watchful aid?
No, you don't know about this. We're on patrol. You're not here. It's fine.
I have to agree with Panda
Go ahead.
here.
Convince him, Lexi. You got this. I believe in you, champ.
Lexi really tries his best.
I believe in a local hero.
That is a 13, which
Yeah, you're safe, bud.
Not horrible, actually.
does not do it.
Oh no, I'm so sad.
But so here's what happens. Viscount Nunez goes, I'm sure it'll be fine, and starts to leave.
Great.
Undoubtedly runs into Captain Baina on the way out.
Oh yeah, he stepped foot outside the mansion, and 17 crystals on Baina's person immediately lit up bright red.
And
So, I just walk Viscount Nunez. So where are you going this late in the day?
oh, I'm headed to a cocktail party by a friend. Should be a good time.
We're not doing so hot.
Where is this party?
It's on the coast, somewhere in Tephramount.
Do you have any guards or security officers going with you to this public event that sounds like it's in the middle of the city?
Do you think I need one?
Well, there's obvious security risks in this type of situation, and you know that it has been requested by, well, really most governing bodies that you stay within.
I mean, yes, I know that, but these are
confines.
like my lads, you know? They wouldn't do anything for me, right? They wouldn't to hurt me.
I don't necessarily don't take this as an accusation on any of your friends, Viscount, but this is again a public event in the middle of a major city. There's many things that could happen to or from. If this is an event with many attendees, there could be any sorts of infiltration and lots of things.
So if you were to put my best interest in mind, you would advise me not to go.
Yes.
Very well. And he kind of goes back inside.
Can I insight check the very weird way that he said very well?
Very well.
Sure.
Very well then.
Sure.
Sure, that sounds like a great idea. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm gonna go back inside.
16.
16? I mean, that was weird. And a few hours
Doesn't
later,
need to sleep tonight.
a few hours later, suddenly, giants start rolling up to the Nunez estate. Somebody
Oh
called
my god,
in,
did he move the party there?
and the party's on, baby. We got
Oh, this is gonna be fun!
we got
oh my
like
God.
20 giants all in the kitchen,
No.
fucking dancing.
Oh my God!
Baina is desperately trying to get a hold on who's here. He has like a sign-in sheet for
Oh
this
my
rager
Lord.
that's going on at midnight that he's desperately trying to like keep track of everybody.
I want
with.
it known I am in the middle of this party, glass of champagne in my fucking hand. This is
And the guests
best.
love you. They're like,
Great.
Oh, you're like up on their shoulders.
This is amazing. 100%. I'm out here screaming I killed 3. Like fucking 3 rings. Like I'm
And
out
these
here
old
just
ass
showing
giants are like 3,
Yeah.
3.
out. Yeah, I'm out here fucking 3 rings, bitch! Just fucking screaming it at the top of my
And
lungs.
3 more.
And 3 more!
Everyone
Like,
drinks.
It is just hell on earth in there. This was 100%. I was down for this from the jump.
Wow. So, Viscount Nunez doesn't die that night, although he does get very hungover.
Good.
The next roll. Wow.
If anyone ever asks, that was my plan the whole time. I was just trying to get him to loosen up a little bit. Definitely not trying to kill him. 100% never crossed my mind.
The next roll is going to be investigation, which is RG and Baina. So go ahead and roll for that.
Question for
So far, we
this,
failed
and
2 out of 2 of these,
this-
by the way.
If this is like a specific in the moment thing and not like an overarching, I'm gonna flash of genius both of us because I have uses of it.
Ooh.
So
Sure.
you get a plus. We both get a +3 to that.
Sure.
Hey, that's nice.
Yeah. All right. Let's hope I can actually get a good roll to work with it. I do only have a +6. That's a 22.
Wow.
After the incident with the party, Baina is more neurotic than ever.
So I had a 6 on the die, but with Spark of Genius plus expertise stats, that's an 18.
Wow.
Hell yeah!
Wait, what's the average? The average is what I get, a 20,
20,
a
20 even.
22?
Average of 20.
Yeah.
You guys succeed on this roll. So here's the situation that goes down, okay? The party's over. It's the next day. Okay?
Baina has the darkest eye bags.
Su Young comes up to you, Captain Baina. RG, you probably would have taken note of this because you wish to be a reporter yourself. So yeah, you guys know that Su Young isn't allowed to write about anything that's happening while it's happening right now. This is like a top secret thing. So he got a special notebook just for this mission that he's been writing in vigorously for months. He approaches you the morning after this party and goes, Captain Baina, I have a bit of an issue I'd like to bring to your attention.
Please,
Oh my god.
just don't tell anyone about last night's incident.
I-
It turned out fine, and it was a more secure option than the alternative. Ultimately,
I am not a snitch, Captain Baina. I'm afraid the issue is a little bit... Well, I don't know if this is important enough to bring to your attention, but... Well, it appears my journal has gone missing.
Oh, fuck.
and after a shit ton of strangers were in the house,
Yes.
which wasn't even Nathan's original intent, but now that's the situation that we're working with. And it just... Oh my god.
Hey,
How
I'm
long has it
gonna
been
float into
missing?
this conversation. Been listening. Why'd
Yeah.
you have a notebook, Sue? I get writing things down, but why'd you have a notebook about this classified mission, Sue?
Because I'm allowed to write about it once it's finished. You think I was going to go on
In
this
the future-
6-month-long excursion and not write about it once we're back?
In the future, please do keep a better handle on your notebook. In all honesty, it really should not leave your person at any time, and my professional recommendation would be to keep it on you. Find a waterproof bag for when you're bathing, everything. Anyway, when exactly did you lose this notebook?
Well, I was getting a little carried away last night. It was quite the blast. And
Rattle, 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 rattle.
Flashback to just three.
a fucking a giant's holding up Su Young upside down by 1 foot as he's doing like a fucking keg stand 30 feet in the air. Well, woke up the next morning and it was not in its usual spot. I usually keep it very tucked away and very safe. I don't know where it could have gone.
Well, thank you for bringing it to my attention. RG, you're versed in this sort of thing. Let's go. And I'm gonna start investigating, at least starting with like the usual place. I don't even ask RG if he's doing anything. Baina has not slept. He has been running around consistently trying to wrangle so much bullshit for hours.
Yeah. You guys, so this is what your investigation check is for. It's finding Su Young's journal.
I want to point out, someone in chat just said, we need a visualization of Baina's stress meter. Thank God we're in giant territory, because that means the ceilings are high enough to accommodate it.
Ayo.
So you guys go investigating.
I was gonna have
Yeah, go ahead.
in character RG ask Sue to write up a description of every giant he can even vaguely remember interacting with the night prior.
Good, yeah.
Yes. So thankfully, Baina wrote a list of all the guests when they were coming in his scramble to get things under control. And also Viscount Nunez assisted in this matter. If you went to talk to him, he would be like, oh, yes, I invited Viscount this, Viscount Jeffrey. I invited Earl Jerome, fucking Duke Ben, it lists all these names of different Viscounts, Earls, and Dukes that would all be at this party.
I definitely have that list.
And I guess, how deep do you want to go? This takes place over months. You could go out on excursions to each of their individual houses and we don't have to role play all of it, but how
How many giants did he interact with? Like, if RG very wisely got a list. What's the list?
Assuming, well, he didn't have his Su Young didn't have his journal on him, and so it could have been anybody that was at the house. And so that's going to be about 20 giants.
This doesn't have to be super in-depth roleplay, but in the interest of keeping the investigation short and efficient, which I assume we probably want to get this back sooner rather than later.
Yes.
Would ask Viscount Nunez if he knows of any Viscounts who are vocally opposed to his position, any suspects that may have done this, anyone known, any Viscounts or Dukes in the area known for espionage as a tactic.
Ooh. Yeah. Viscount Nunez would be like, well, yes, that was as the way with all parties with politicians. It was not just a party. We discussed a manner of things. I often go to these to try and convince more people for more funding. Yes, of course, I can give you a list. And he gives you a much shorter list of people who are kind of opposed. He didn't invite anybody that was like against, but he invited people that had notes and had opinions, similar to Jeremiah, where it's like, what are the ethics of this rehabilitation? Like, I know if you get them to like us, that's cool, but what does it take, sort of thing? And you get a much smaller list of like 5 giants.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Bane is gonna confer with RG now that we have this information. RG, you're more well versed in this sort of news-related business than I am. It seems to me like just asking them would be, well, easy enough for them to simply lie about whether they've seen this item or not. After all, it is quite small compared to the environment, would be easy to conceal. Do you have experience with interviewing subjects or anything?
Well, Captain, with all due respect, what we're doing isn't going to be interviewing, it's going to be grilling for information. And in the world of information, the best leverage is more information. Now, if we can get up everything incriminating against these dukes and viscounts as we can on the night of this party, and let them know we have eyewitness accounts of them possibly going to a political opponent's abode, then they may be more willing to present the truth.
It's a more intense solution than I was expecting from you, but I'm actually quite impressed.
It's a seedy world, the news business, sir.
Yes. Yes, it is. All right, well, we certainly have enough contacts and enough gossip going around from that night. Let's see what we can gather.
And it's this type of high-level thinking coming from RG, which is why your investigation roll was so high. We can roleplay one of these interactions if you want, or we can just skip to the results of the matter. It's up to you.
I personally want to see how RG performs in this kind of situation, if Mike is down for it. Obviously, I'm not going to force you into a scene, but I'm curious, so let's do one.
Let's do one. You head over to Duke Silvier's. You head over to his mansion in Tephramount. You knock on the biggest door you've ever seen. An assistant opens it and goes, hello. Ah, Masmus. Hello down there.
Hello, we are from the Masmus, as you can tell. We are the squad assigned to protect Viscount Nunez in these sort of unstable times, and we had a few questions for you regarding an event held at his estate, however many days ago this was in universe.
Oh, of course. I will get Duke Silvier. Please, come in. And you...
as we come in, Bana kind of leans over to RJ and goes, to be quite frank, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. You are more experienced in these things than I am, if you are comfortable with that.
Absolutely. I only ask that you don't think less of me afterward.
What?
The assistant extends her hand down for you to step onto it, both of you.
Sure.
and she raises
I mean,
you up.
As long as it's not weird, then yes.
No, it's not weird at all. She raises you up onto like a table so you can be at like a more reasonable height for any conversating that's about to go down. Inside, extremely elegant, as opposed to the Viscount sort of vibe of like a marble building with lots of plants. This is more log cabin-esque. Still the fucking wealthiest log cabin you've ever seen, but it's a much more nature homey feel. You enter in. Duke Sylvier enters in and goes, Masmus, hello. What are your names?
I am Argentum Scritori. This is my captain, Captain Adrian Baena. We're here on behalf of Viscount Nunez over some property that was lost at his estate.
Oh dear, how terribly unfortunate.
Very. In fact, it was of a quite classified nature. Are you familiar with the Daily Scripts Cazilorian publication?
Yes, I believe I've heard of it.
Well, as you may recall, it was quite the hectic night, and
Yes. That one of yours, what's his name? Jeremiah? What a riot.
I'm glad you recall Jeremiah, sir. We'll get back to that in a moment.
Baina's
Unfortunately-
expression is just dead-eyed stare.
Our war correspondent, one Su Young, lost his notebook, which was containing information of quite a sensitive nature. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Great Mother, no. That's unfortunate. I know nothing about that. I spent all of my time with Earl Rice over at the keg.
The keg. And was that anywhere near Su Young's quarters, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
And you're certain you wouldn't have seen a human-sized notebook? Not easy for any giant to steal, let alone misplace.
Am I being accused of theft?
No, you're just being encouraged to cooperate. Particularly if you remember that name, Jeremiah Stokes?
Yes.
Well, our squad mate has a different name. Have you heard the title Giantsbane?
Well, of course. We celebrated the title all night.
And how would potentially the public react to know that their Duke was out partying with a man who has killed, sure, enemy giants, but giants nonetheless? In politically turbulent times, controversy is not healthy for one's reign, you know?
I'm gonna need an intimidation check.
I'll use my last flash of genius.
And you can
for
do
the
it with
day on
advantage.
this one.
Ooh.
Okay, so you have advantage and an additional +3.
Correct.
Go off,
Nice.
RG. I can only do this one. I'm going to assume, because it would be kind of busted otherwise, that this is the same day as the previous two. So this is my last flash of genius for the day. Use it well.
Okay. How much to Flash of Genius is +3?
Yeah.
Okay, my intimidation is +1. One of my rolls was a nat 1. The other
Thank
was
God
a
we have
12.
advantage.
So we got 16.
16.
Not bad.
16. With a 16, Duke Sylvier kind of goes, well, Argentum Scritori, was it?
Yes.
I can't say I am comfortable with this line of questioning we have entered. But if I think back to last night, I recall, who was it? I think it was Viscount Gorad who kept complaining that it was so hot and opened all the windows.
How odd.
Question: was it actually notably hot in there, or was that an excuse to just open the windows for another reason?
I mean, it was warm, as like a party would be, but it wasn't like, God, open a window in here.
Yeah. Okay. Like, reasonably, as someone who was there and was running around,
Yeah.
is it weird that someone? Okay, it is weird that someone
It's
was
weird
doing
that someone
Got it,
opened
okay.
all
It's
the
weird.
windows.
Someone.
Yeah.
The fact that actively someone went to the effort of opening all the windows is super shady. Okay.
One
yeah.
last question, and I am very thankful for that tidbit. Do you know, or have you heard any whispers of humans under Viscount Gorad, was it? His payroll?
Oh, Viscount Gorad works with a lot of people. I'm not familiar with his interminglings. I'm sure he's done work with humans, yes.
Well, just because, and we both know you're not making this implication on the record, but it sounds as if Viscount Gorad could have hypothetically made a route for human intruders to come into the castle, the manor, undetected in all the chaos, and swipe that notebook. And completely off the record, would you see that guess is in a good range of possibility?
I would say, off the record, that doesn't sound all that unreasonable. I would also say that Viscount Gorad doesn't actually have many friends in this space. I mean, we're politicians. None of us really have true friends. But it's because the man can be easily bought.
Well, that is very interesting. Off the record. It has been enjoyable to chat off the record, but we must be going, as clearly our questioning isn't done. Travels to be had.
Yes. Very well. Be on your way and stay safe out there.
You as well, Duke.
Thank you. And he lets you down off the table, which is a sign of respect to you. He's not making his assistant do it. He did it for you. And you leave, and for the sake of like not role-playing this entire investigation, it could be a whole episode on its own. It is that you follow a trail of clues that leads you to believe that somebody bribed Viscount Gorad to create a security risk, notably, you don't know if it's humans, but the only other option is fairies, so you would like to think
we
the
do
best.
know there are human-sized Atrarian allies.
Allow somebody in who knew that the headliners would be here. And you obviously do not have enough evidence at the moment to, incriminate Viscount Gorad, but this would most definitely need to be reported.
All right.
But you do not ever end up finding the journal.
Okay.
it.
You do not end up ever
to-
finding
To
the journal.
wrap up this scene from a little roleplay perspective, as we're heading back from whatever the final step of this investigation is, Baina's gonna talk to her to just very casually go, "Well done with all of this. You have a genuine talent for this space."
Thank you. Ooh, everything's tingling, but like this time is in a good way, you know? Because like I was like words, and it's like I've never felt like, words can have power. Did you see that? I went toe to toe with a giant with words and stuff. Oh my god. Whew.
Beta it is clearly like not like openly sharing in the excitement, but you can kind of tell that he's happy for you as well. He goes, yes. You can consider that another successful combat in a sense, I suppose.
And an additional note, when you get back to the estate and you take another look at the house of Viscount Nunez with this information you've gathered, even the lowest window is like 30 feet up, you know?
Right.
And
so there was either climbing involved or possibly if we're dealing with fairies, like, yeah.
Both of which don't have great implications.
No, both are bad. Both are bad, but good to know.
But now, whatever information was in that journal, you don't know where it is. And so Su Young would tell you that he's basically written an account of like just the things that have been happening.
Yeah, I do want to ask Su Young to, as absolutely faithfully as he can, recreate that journal like to the word, so that we have a record of what information may have leaked.
Yeah. He does that fairly easily.
Yeah. And then obviously Bana will go over that. Obviously, you don't need to say that, but Bana knows what information is out there, so he has a picture of the situation.
It is an account of what has happened, but I think for you the most worrisome thing would be that you having such notoriety, it could now be leaked to people that you don't want it to be, that the headliners are here. And with that, we have one last check to make, which is Intimidation by Ari and Winnie.
Yep. Our last chance to break even on the amount of fails we've had.
Yes, so we have 2 fails and 2 successes. Because of Ari's fear power, she'll be rolling with advantage.
Okay.
Intimidation.
I roll it normal.
Here we go.
I get a +6 to this. Come on. Okay, that's not bad at all. That's a 21.
21. Wow.
Good start, and with an advantage on the other one.
And Ari got 17. So no need to even get the average. That beats the opposed roll. I will say at this time, so time is passing through all of this. At this time, we're about a month and a half away from Lunar Crescentine. The butler has already fully decorated the house for the holiday season. It is fucking lights up the wazoo. It's just extremely... This is a holiday in Estersal and Cazilor. Like I said, it's like a Cazilorian Christmas. It's a little sad that you all will be fucking here during that time. But it's a month and a half away, and the house is already decorated. And Viscount Nunez notably has, during these months, been yapping nonstop about how great the Lunar Crescentine Festival is that happens in Teframount during this time. He says it's his favorite time of the year. And the weather here actually gets a little bit chilly. It's always like 70 to 90 in Cazilor, but you're super far north right now. It actually dips down to sort of like the 60s, the low 60s, which is new for people like you. So it's probably a little chilly lately as we actually enter into a somewhat fall setting, temperature-wise. One night, amongst all of these nights, you and Ari are doing patrols around the estate, as you do every night. And Ari just kind of goes, I can't wait for this to be over. We only got a couple months left.
And then it's another vacation? Surely we have to have like another vacation after being away for 6 months, right?
I would hope so. I mean, I think that's how it works. It's you go through periods of being on and off duty, but it all counts towards your service. So they
Okay, I was
better
about
give
to
us a
ask, because
break.
it all count towards our third.
Yeah. That month off still counted. You better believe it did. Hell yeah.
All right.
But it's just so boring. I mean, nothing fucking ever happens.
I mean, we've gotten to like spend time together. I feel like we have not actually had a chance to talk.
No, not really. I kind of am always by RG's side, so I never really hang out with anybody else.
So, like, the duo thing, is that like a self-imposed
I mean,
sort of thing?
it was our grandpa's idea, but also it's like, I love my brother, and I enjoy spending time with him as well. So it's really sort of whatever. But we've trained together for so long that it kind of just feels weird doing things with anybody else. But,
I mean, like, you've gotta be your own person, like, eventually, yeah?
I mean, I think I am. I think we both stand out independent from each other. I mean, I know like the recent article really sold us as a duo, which is kind of what we wanted. But, yeah, I mean, I think we stand out. I mean, we got such unique gifts, and so that helps.
Oh, yeah, like, at least it's not, like, a pair of a thing. If it's, like, a fear and then, like, love powers, like, opposite sort of thing, that would be weird.
That would almost be corny. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of spending time with people, you and Lexi, what's up with that?
I mean, we've just kind of, like, we met the first day at training, obviously.
Yeah.
And, like, you meet someone, and then they just sort of
woo you and you fall in love?
No one's
No?
I just we're on patrol.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. We are on patrol. And one of us is in love on patrol. How hilarious.
I don't know what makes you say that, though.
Almost saving you from this awkwardness.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a rustle coming from the trees outside the estate.
Immediately on guard with the bow.
Oh, here we go. Is it another fucking bear? And give me a perception check.
Oh, come on. My perception's not great. It's an 11.
11? You see large silhouettes. 2. At the tree line outside the estate. And Ari kind of goes, oh shit, that's not a bear.
I fire a warning shot.
You fire a warning shot. At the same time, Ari fires a red flare, signaling to everybody on the estate that they see giants. And with your, what was it, 24?
It was like a 21 and a 17.
Yeah. You see the lights up the area. You see 2 giants in like all black kind of go, oh shit, oh I didn't know that they didn't fucking tell us the masters would be here, fucking move, and run out into the woods far away. And you have no idea what their intention was, but they're gone now.
God damn it.
And Ari's like, yeah, we probably should tell Captain about that.
Is there any way... I failed the first time doing this, but I would like to pull off a flower and sort of send it on the wind after them.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Blowing in the wind. What do you want me to say to this?
I don't know.
Blowing in the wind for probably 3 feet.
If I could... I don't know. I want to see if I can do some cool stuff with my powers now. It's been a while.
That's true. It's been a while. Give me an Arcana check with, or a Nature check, whichever's higher, with advantage.
Yeah.
Advantage.
My nature's way higher. But that's not great for the first roll. Let's try a second roll. which is better for a 16.
A 16. So, here's what happens. You pluck a flower, you let it blow in the wind. It flops onto the ground, takes root. And then you approach the flower, and you're like, what's up, man? And the flower's like, they're running away. I see that they're heading back into Tephramount.
Back into Tephramount. Cool. And is it in the spot where they were previously standing?
I would say it's right in front of you, but it's like able to sort of sense through all the plant life is basically what you've been working on over this time. It's been able to communicate through all the plant life. The flower goes like, hold on, I'm getting another call. What? Oh, okay. They're teenagers? They just look like they needed money. Oh, that's sad. Okay, yeah, looks like they just wanted to like rob the place or something.
Oh, so they're trying to break in, you think? Can you give me like an approximate height, weight class?
She goes, hold on. A little petal falls off. Whew. No idea.
Well, you're sort of in a general area of where they were standing. Can you taste if they were like stone or sand seated?
No. I can't. I don't think I could do that.
We'll work on it.
We'll work
Thanks
on
so
it.
much for your help,
Yeah,
little buddy.
no problem. So do I just live here now?
Are you just going to be I think you might just be sentient here for a while or forever or a little bit of time.
Okay. That's nice.
I haven't really worked that part out yet.
Got it.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if a flower could look around, we see a wide shot of a single flower in a field of nothing but grass. And she goes, it's great here. So many people.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, you can like grow big and strong and then like have more of you. Or you can
Weirdly
like talk to the
wholesome.
network.
Yeah. Okay.
There are fugitives escaping right now.
And she's like, okay, yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, bud.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
Bye. And
Oh, and I relayed this information to.
Giants can run so
Ari.
fast.
Yeah, we can't run after them. They're gone. So
you have to get on the horses, get out the gate, go back.
yeah, they're gone. So I tell Ari. So it was two teenage giants dressed in all black, headed from. They were coming here from Tephramont, and they're running back there right now.
Oh.
Seems like they might have been trying to rob the place for money.
Ooh.
Don't know if there was another intention.
Yeah, we can hope
based
that's
on
all it was, for sure. I mean, they sounded pretty freaking scared when they saw us. So, I guess that checks out. All right, let's tell Captain Baina, even though I'm sure he's already halfway here.
Yeah.
And Baina around the corner.
I mean, yeah. If there was enough sound, if there was light. Right,
There was a
from
flare that was set up, yeah.
Yeah, there was a flare. Yeah. He's booking it over there.
And you all exchange that information. Having succeeded on 2 checks and failed on 2, we enter into the time where it is time for the meeting with the ambassador. Okay? This is a big day. You are, I think, 4, maybe 5 months deep into this operation at this point. This meeting is happening on Lunar Crescentine's Eve. There is a huge fucking festival going on in Tephramount. You can hear the stomping. It sounds like fucking... almost worryingly, it sounds like distant explosions. Just stomping and dancing of giants and just like a huge... The city is always lit up and alive during this whole month. And begrudgingly... Viscount Nunez is staying home for his
amazed,
safety.
Genuinely, as a player, that we made that happen somehow.
Begrudgingly, he is staying home.
He had to learn eventually.
He did, and it's up to you if you would have allowed this agreement. He did ask for if the day of you guys could go on Lunar Crescentine, like with U.S. protection.
If that's after the meeting, he asked in advance, and it is like one of the most major holidays with lots of preparation.
Right.
Yeah, Beta's not going to object.
I'm also curious, before we get into this meeting, if any of you would have tried to get each other gifts for Lunar Crescentine as the holiday approached. You don't have to answer now, but just something to think about going forward, because it'll probably come up next episode. So, the day of. Bana, you are met by another squad at the Nunez estate. You knew this was coming. You knew who was coming. It's the day of. You meet up with Juniper Squad, led by Captain Tamanthus. And this is not a squad like yours. This is not a special operations squad. This is like a fucking 20, 24 people squad. And Captain Tamanthus, he's a little younger than you, but he's still in his 30s. And they arrive on the estate in their horses and their wagons, and he goes to meet you, and he goes, Captain Bana, put her there.
I shake his hand, probably a little less enthusiastically than he does from the first line alone, but I shake his hand.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but we haven't been told jack shit. We know that Juniper Squad is in charge of escorting the ambassador to and from the docks to Viscount Nunez's estate. Now, if anything were to happen to pop off in that escort, we'd take care of it, I guarantee you. But after they arrive here, it is all up to you and the protection of Viscount Nunez. Is that the same information you got?
I believe so. This is me asking as a player. I believe so. That tracks with the information that I have here.
That is the same information that you
a question that I will ask out of game, because I feel like this would probably have been addressed beforehand. Are they also escorting him back?
Yes, they'll also be escorting him back.
They're also escorting him back. Okay. And then, yes, I believe that lines up with all of our orders. Everything seems to work out fine that way.
Fan-fucking-tastic. All right, look, so it's only going to take us about... shouldn't take any longer than 20 minutes to get from town to here. And so, we're about to go rendezvous with the Atrarians. Statement I never thought I'd catch myself saying. But we're about to go rendezvous. 20 to 30 minutes it'll take us to get there, get them, get back. If something were to go awry, we'll fire up a signal flare for you, and you can respond as you would. Your major priority is Viscount Nunez, and my soldiers are very capable.
Yes, I should warn you, though I assume you already know, if there is a flare, we will, as a smaller squad, have to take the safer choice and assume that it is meant to be a distraction attack. We cannot spare many members to go assist, so you will be on your own largely in that event, though we will do our best to cover as many bases as we can.
Completely understandable. Well, all right, guess we best be on our way. Don't want to miss our little date. Captain, you've been doing some great work out here. You and Headliner Squad. Honor to work with you. We'll see you in a few minutes. And
all right.
Him and his squad
I look forward to your arrival.
Head out. So, I need to show you something about the Viscount Estate. This meeting is going to be happening in the war room, the war council room of the Viscount Estate.
Totally not suspicious at all that there's an actual map showing up for this totally chill meeting.
Yeah, it's a totally chill meeting, guys. Panda, you're muted.
Definitely just a meeting.
Definitely just a meeting. Nothing's gonna happen, guys. This is just the only map I had. The only artwork I had. Anyways, so this is just like the top half of the room. There is an interior door at the bottom of this map. You see these two doors at the top. These lead out into sort of like a rooftop garden situation.
And those are doors, not windows.
Yeah, but they are like they're like openings.
Yeah, I ask mostly because specifically with Bana being in the investigation that found out the window thing, he's definitely checked all the locks.
Doors, not
probably
windows.
put more alarms on windows, but if those aren't windows, moot point.
I will say the ceiling in this room is incredibly high. There is like a glass sort of dome ceiling situation going on, so there are windows above you as well. Also,
So it's like a sunroom. Sort of.
yeah, kind of. Also, there's just a detail thing. The actual Cazilor map on the wall that's like 30 feet tall. And this is where Viscount will be waiting. He'll be sitting in this big main chair at the top. I will say before you all like get in position or whatever, Viscount Nunez is going to meet the ambassador at the front door, and then all of you will walk to the war room for the meeting. But it's probably good for you to know where you want to be before you get there.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what's happening. Juniper Squad leaves. Okay? Viscount Nunez is sorting out all of his papers on his desk and stuff. He's wearing an even more regal uniform for today. And about 20 minutes in, you see a red flare go up off in the distance.
It's been 20 minutes since they left?
20 minutes. They said it would take about 30 for them to get there and back.
Okay. So this is on their approach.
Yes.
That's
This is them coming back. That's worrying.
That's interesting. Okay. I feel like this is probably a given, but also this is a pretty large building, right? Is there any way, given the landscape, that Bana and whoever else wants to come can get a vantage point on them?
For sure. You can go up to like the roof.
Yeah, if this building's really tall, and I definitely, not everybody should go, because obviously we don't want everybody splitting off. Yeah, my question is if I can see what's going on from a vantage point without leaving the estate grounds.
Yes, but it will.
If I can't, that's fine.
You can, but it will cost you 5 minutes of time.
5 minutes of time total?
To get up there to look. It'll cost you more time to get back down.
Damn, okay. Bane is holding to the idea that he told the other captain of, like, it would make sense that Atrarians would try to attack the convoy to pull the smaller protective squad away from the target. We can't spare people to leave. With that logic, I think it makes sense to risk getting a vantage point if we can do it while staying in the grounds of the estate.
Yeah.
Because Bana doesn't really want to go to help, unfortunately.
I almost want to. We're in this room, right?
Well, I think technically you would have been at the front door of the estate waiting for the ambassador to arrive when you saw distantly down the trail the flare go up.
Okay, and is that in the same direction where Ari and I had seen, like, the intruders from last night?
No, it's not.
It's in a different spot.
It's a different spot.
Okay.
The docks are far.
It's right on the trail.
It's right on the trail. Can I ask the trees if they know what's going on?
You can
Good.
head
Oh,
over.
Good
that's
thinking.
smart.
Good thinking.
That is smart.
It's gonna cost time, but it'll cost less time than Bana's afterward.
Okay, here's the thing. Right now, we have 20 minutes, right? Well, you know what?
Right now,
We have 10 minutes.
We have I was about to say we have at most 15. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Go for it.
I'm gonna call Spud to come with me because Spud can probably
that's
run
a good-
faster to get the information back,
Yeah.
or at least
Yeah.
go get.
Because it's a huge estate.
Leaving.
It'll probably cost you like 3 minutes to go out there and get this information there and back.
Just for the sake of extra security, Bana's also gonna toss you the same horn that RJ used that's linked to Bana. If something goes wrong, you can do the silent alarm.
Okay.
How quickly could Vera get up to the roof? Because if anyone should be making a perception check, it's probably Vera.
It would still take Vera, like 5 minutes to get up there. It's an extremely tall building.
I say it's worth it, even if the enemies get there. Because because she has
She can
ranged combat training as well.
She has ranged talking to you as well.
She has ranged talking to you. She has ranged
Which
combat
we saw
training.
with Jeremiah.
Even if it becomes an active fight while she's still up there, that's a tactical advantage.
Right.
So yeah, I think it makes sense to try and send her up there.
On the lookout especially for teen giants, because from what we know, 2 of these distractions have come from local teens, seemingly.
Yeah.
Which definitely ties in with the bribery angle.
Jeremiah, you cooking up anything?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where I would be the most useful, considering the fact that I'm not going to be able to climb up anything quickly. Jeremiah knows his abilities from what he's been doing. I'm considering staying low to the ground and maybe at the entrance, maybe being able to sneak attack anybody who enters.
I would say that Captain Bana and all of you would know that the war room is the safest room in the house.
That makes sense.
And so
in that case,
yeah,
Bana's recommendation, which again, this is an open thing, is sending the Count, Jeremiah, and Lexi to the war room if it's the safest place.
Yes.
And then Bana himself, along with RG and Ari, will stay at the door so that we have 2 anchors and a climber on hand to try and handle any sort of forward attack. Yeah.
I give Lexi one of my flowers to bring with him to the war room to put it with the plants.
Okay. Very good.
So it can put roots down in there.
Put roots down in there. So, the shortest is RG doing anything?
RG is stationed with Bana and Ari.
Got it.
Yeah, you can. I will say you can do like Bana doesn't have a specific job for you at the moment. The reason I say, like, more specifically, I kind of want Bana specifically wants him and Ari at the gates. Because again, it's the logic of like, if a giant tries to storm in, immediate double anchor shot on him. So
Right.
I said you there because I assumed RG would want to be with Ari in this kind of situation. But if you want to do something else, like
in that case,
you're your own player. I'm not your boss. Well, I am.
Can I go to the war room and say I have sort of a running investigation check for tampering or anything that might be going on?
Go for it.
Okay, so RG, Jeremiah, Splat, the Viscount are all in the war room. Oh, sorry, Lexi is also in the war room. Winnie and Spud are going to the tree line. Highblade Vera is going to the top of the estate, and then everybody else is going to the gate. Before anything happens at all, I'm going to need a perception check from everybody, and it's going to be difficult.
Everybody. I'm going to Flash
Come on,
of Genius
Nat 20.
because it's a new day. I'm going to Flash of Genius myself.
It's going to be difficult.
I'm only going to use one, but if it's going to be difficult...
There's only one person I can give a watchful aid to, or I can give all my watchful aids out.
You can give all your watchful aids out.
That's going to be a bad idea. So I'm going to give my watchful aid to Lexi because he is the most likely to perish in this situation.
Okay.
Lexi has a
I
watchful
forget
aid.
sometimes that I can roll for Amphis as well. Amphis is its own entity. So Amphis's perception check is a +0.
Ooh.
But that's 13. I thought it was an 18. 13 for Amphis, and then Flash of Genius Bana perception is going to be a 17. Not crazy.
17 for
Jeremiah got an
Would Lexi
18.
have-
18 for Jeremiah. What was that when
Would Lexi have given me a watchful aid?
Sure. You get I think it's a D10
Okay.
now. Oh,
It is
at
a
level
D10
6.
now, so he also has a D10.
I got a 7.
7.
Yes. Okay. That is a 18 plus 1 is 19 plus 8 is 27.
Ooh.
You got a 27. Vera got a 27. Matt, what did you get?
17 was 17 and 13 for me and Amphis. So
And
not great.
Jeremiah got an 18. The only people who notice this are Winnie and Vera. It's so hard.
Makes sense. It's
tell.
farther out.
It's so hard to tell this because there's a festival going on. And there's so much noise coming from the city. Specifically, stomping and booming. But some of the booms are different. Some of the booms
shit.
Bombs.
are actually explosions.
Yeah.
You
they're bombs.
bastard with your foreshadowing earlier.
You better believe it. You head over, Winnie, you head over to the tree line. You speak with the trees. The trees speak back. What do you ask them?
I say, explosions going on. What's happening? Give me the rundown.
The tree goes, fire.
What direction?
You feel the wind breeze and the direction down the trail.
Okay. Anyone fallen?
The tree goes, many explosions, many bodies.
Oh, that's
So cold.
cold. Cold? Do we know anyone that's
Does that
cold? What's
mean
cold?
dead, or does that mean... Is
Yeah.
that literal or metaphorical? Well, not
Like
metaphorical,
actual cold, like when the seasons change cold? Or still?
I feel leaves burning
Leaves burning, yes.
and leaves freezing.
So weather cold and burning, cold and hot. I think there might be a gifted giant with fire ice powers. An icy hot giant? Does that sound like a thing? Have you encountered an icy hot giant before?
3 giants.
3 giants, yes.
One leaving. 2 approaching.
2 approaching. Okay, yep, 2 approaching, 1 going away. Are these giants familiar to you? Do you recognize these footprints, this gate?
No,
Any other pertinent information you need to give me, Tree?
they're fast.
Ah, okay. I give you a flower for your troubles.
Thank you.
Yes. Anything bad happen, let me know. If you're on fire, let me know. Or if you're cold, let me know. And I start to sprint away with Spud and
You have Spud and you have the horn.
Oh yeah, I blow the horn. What does the horn do again?
It's basically just you can blow it and only Bano will hear it. So it's like a stealth signal. I don't know if it would be metagaming to give advice because we had a whole strategy thing and I did say this earlier.
I would probably blow twice to show like.
That's what I would. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I was like, that's what I was hoping you were gonna say. Because that intuitively, if you do like very intentionally 2 quick blows, Bane is gonna register that as 2 approaching giants.
As you were running with Spud, Spud's like, that did not sound good. That did not sound good.
It wasn't. Did you hear all of that?
Yeah, I heard all of that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm in a vines. What do you mean there's fire?
No. Oh, right. Oh, no.
I'm going to be extra strategic here. Amphis has a speed of 40 feet. I am going to send Amphis to the war room, and I'm sure that there's pictures in there. Amphis has a tail. I'm going to have Amphis communicate to the people in the war room 2 approaching giants. Be it just like find a picture of a giant, tap twice on it with the tail, whatever, and then come back so I don't have to leave that post.
Okay. Clock is ticking.
So you guys just see my snake show up.
Vera, time passes. Vera reaches the top of the thing. She needs eyes on somebody to communicate them with her freaky whisper powers. I assume Bana makes himself visible.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in the, I assume there's a courtyard near this entrance. If I know that that's something she needs, I'll position myself in a place where she can communicate.
Rolled a natural 20 on her perception check
yeah.
at the top of the thing. She can see everything. She reports to you, Bana. She says, Juniper Squad is finished. 2 giants approaching through the tree line. 1 larger, 1 smaller. They are wrapping around the estate. They are not going to the main entrance. The bigger one appears to be a pyro. The smaller one is wearing something strange. It's like glowing, and she can't make out what it is at this distance. It's weird. She doesn't know how to describe it. And it's wearing it on its back like a backpack. And they're gonna get here before she can get down. They're that close. They're moving fast.
Back. I don't know what that is as a player. That's one of the things you've kept secret from me.
Yes, it is. At this point, Bana, you're going into the war room. Everybody, I assume that was with Bana, is also going to the war room. Vera's on the roof. She's beginning her descent. Winnie, you can also make it to the war room if that's where you want to go before the giants arrive.
Yes, that's where I'm planning to go.
Bana, you arrive in the war room. Shortly after, Winnie, you arrive in the war room. Everybody's in the war room but Highblade Vera. I'll say, you hear the stomping of giants approaching and the crashing of trees around the estate. The butler is in the war room too, but I mean, what's he gonna do? You have probably like 30 seconds to do anything else you want to prepare for and get everybody into a position. Again, if you look at the map here, there is a single door. You can't see it, but there is a single door at the bottom of this map, and then there are 2 doors that lead out to like a rooftop porch that a giant could probably still get up into if they wanted to on the top side of this map. Where do you want Nunez? Where do you want your people?
So they know Nunez is going to be in the war room. Can we position Nunez wherever in the building it would be most inconvenient to get to from a flank? Like the most center point of this building.
We need like tornado shelter logic here. Most covered,
where
most
would that
central.
best be?
Where's the nearest bathroom?
That would probably be...
That's actually generally one of the best places to be in.
It'll probably
Like,
be...
that's
Really?
real. Yeah, because they're often central and small and don't have huge windows.
We'll say there's a bathroom in the living room that's at the very central of the house. You can put Nunez and the butler in there if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, assuming the butler isn't actually bad, even though we were told he's good.
Wouldn't that be funny? Anyways,
No, it wouldn't actually.
I don't like the way you said that.
so you
Yeah.
all are in the war room.
Yes.
All you hear is the approaching of giants. Boom, 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 boom. Stomping through the forests.
Question here. They're surrounding the whole place, right? I have very actively described many times that I've put various traps and signals and awards around. Am I going to get advance notice on which direction they're coming from?
Yes, you would. Thanks to your alarms. One of them...
Bana's paranoia was validated!
One of them... I don't know, we didn't clarify how much information your crystal alarms tell you.
Yeah, it doesn't... it would be directional at the very least, but it probably...
An alarm goes off on the front door. An alarm goes off on the back end of the estate, sort of in the direction of this sort of rooftop garden.
Got it. I don't know if this would be indicated more by the time the alarms go off or the distance that the alarms are set. I mean, it would probably be a combination of the two, but I would know which is gonna arrive first, more likely.
The one inside the house.
Oh, inside the... Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, Bane is going to probably silently, just visually, with gestures, communicate that to everybody else so that everyone knows where the first attack is going to come from.
Someone is coming through the bottom door. After a few more seconds of just you hearing crash, boom, bang, suddenly the door to the war room fucking explodes open, and a giant bursts into the room screaming, "Viscount Nunez!" And everybody will have to roll initiative. But that is where we will end this episode of Tales from Cazilor, the Golden Era. Thank you so much for watching.
Episode. We hit the whole range today.
We will see you next week. If you made it this far in the video, we greatly appreciate that. If you made it this far in the series, we greatly appreciate that. Go buy some Cazilor merch. We've raised $1,900 for PCRF. Go vote for us in the Crit Awards. We're about to go film the after show. It's Patreon exclusive. You know the deal. Get the heck out of here. Thanks for kicking it with us. See you next week.
See ya. Oh my god.